Hello everyone. Tonight will be a very short stream, but that's okay. At least I think it's going to be short. It could end up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. But, you know, we'll figure that one out in a minute. There we go. Sending out the messages. Where's the last one? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, there it is. Cool. And now we wait, I guess, for you know, 1 or 2 people to show up. I arrive. I've been waiting for this 4 days. Hello, Melodic. I will get started on that fruit right away. Let me just go grab something to cut fruit with. Also, can I just say that this song right here is my favorite Gathering Hub song, like of all time. Just actually my favorite. And I miss it. I'm so sad that you can't just have all of the old Gathering Hub music. Because, like, this one's so good. Got so many peaches to eat. This is gonna be great. I gotta get started on these soon. They're starting to look really ripe, which is like awesome because that means they're gonna taste fantastic. But that also means I gotta like eat them all today and tomorrow. So if I'm eating a lot of fruit today, that's probably why. Oh, hello. Oh. Okay. It'd be so cool if the Hub and GU, if you could pick the song from the franchise, but I know, it's such a shame. I understand that would be really hard. Yeah, exactly. Well, first peach is a miss. That's okay, I can still eat it. Yes, I think I can. Yo, hello, the Panda King. Tonight's going to be a bit weird. It's not going to be your usual MHGU stream. Arguably, it's not going to be an MHGU stream at all, but, you know, that's okay. How are you doing tonight? Also, I wish all of you a happy Valentine's Day. I think we can get started here in a minute. So, as you can see, this is what we're doing today. That's right. I'm compiling a tier list of all of the Monster Hunter GU monsters based on how fun they are to fight. I may need your help. I don't. Oh yes, thank you. There's gonna be there's might be some controversy. I tend to have a very bad taste in everything, especially when it comes to food. Today I learned that I like the sticks that come in Fun Dip, and nobody else does, which can go added to the black licorice and like literally every other piece of candy I like. Oh my god. Oof. Oi. Today was genuinely just a regular day for me, but with fancy food. Oh, that's nice. Wow, S tier. We'll see, we'll see. I still have like half of this peach to go through. Hi. Fun Dip sticks are sicko mode. There we go. Somebody gets it. I don't know. I had a friend at work today who had never had a Fun Dip before, and they were just like, "This is like dope pixie sticks." Over here playing the For You. I'm in love. Oh, I love this soundtrack. It's what I grew up on, man. I say grew up on. It's what my Monster Hunter career grew up on. Let me put it that way. The music I actually grew up on is very weird and also copyrighted, so you know can't do that. Right. The fruit has been done. I'm setting my keyboard on the floor because I don't need that. Putting this here. There we go. Okay. My stand is set up. So let's figure some stuff out. Okay. So we're gonna start with we're just gonna do this in alphabetical order because that is the easiest way to take a look at this list. So we got this guy. I think his name is Agantor or Aganator, Agantinator. You guys are gonna get to hear me mispronounce literally every monster in the game. Get ready for this. And I gotta like, for me it's a visual thing. I gotta think about the way that they move and the way that they do things. Aganator, yes. Anyway, yes. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna try and pronounce myself correctly. In fact, I'm even gonna just call it anyway. So the monster, this guy. Personally, I think this guy is pretty fun. He has lots and lots of fun little breakable parts on his body that I absolutely. When monsters just like crumble, it makes me so happy because the idea of just like things shattering all over the place, it's just such a good feeling. And he's got that giant like golden chest plate that you can just completely tear apart and it puts him into stun. It makes me happy when it's dead. But like on top of that, it has laser beams. Laser beams are really cool, even though they're not great in the game. Like they're kind of a pain to deal with, and he does in fact dive under the water. There's a lot of monsters that go underground that I absolutely despise. However, I think that this is one of the few that I don't know. He's kind of cool. He's got a unique design to him, and like in terms of the actual fight itself, you know, he pops out of the ground. You do a lot of damage. And he flies out of the ground. He lets you hit him a lot, honestly. Out of every monster in the game, like this is one of those monsters that's just like, hey, you want to hit me? Go ahead and hit me. I'll try to name every monster as you go in them. He can jump into the ceiling through the caves, so I do admit that's cool. No. I mean, here's the thing, though. He's not the best monster, but he's good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like him. Just not nearly as much as maybe everything else. Or, like, not nearly as much as other things, for example. You know, he's actually a great baseline. We're going to put him in B. Right there. We're going to start right there with it all. All right. The next monster is Atakal, or I don't know, Atakal, nest set monster. This guy makes the nest set. So in terms of actually fighting him, he is one of those monsters. Atakal, thank you, Atakal. Atalka. There we go. Huzzah. If you don't put Crystal Weird below F, I'm leaving the stream. Mantis is pretty dope. Here's the thing about Mantis, right? I like him when he's not in the giant wolf form. When he's in the giant wolf form, he might as well be Lao Shang. Which, for the record, I don't like Lao Shang, like, at all. That monster, I absolutely despise that fight. However, he does have, like, the Mantis forms are really cool. And I love the way that the cutscene plays out. How he has, like, 3 different phases. And then, like, the first phase is cool. The second phase is cool. And then the third phase is all the phases thrown together plus a giant wheel. And that's really cool. The giant mecha wolf, though, he does that like 3 times in a row and it's identical. Like, you know, the giant junk monster is pretty unique, though. And how you, like, attack its feet to climb up. Oh, I mean, yeah. I just don't know if it's fun. See, we're rating this based on fun to fight. I will say... Let's see. Where does he go? Well, here's my rating, right? This is the easiest way for me to rate monsters. Do I find them more fun to fight than any other monster on here, or do I find them less fun to fight than any other monster on here? And I put a Nakantor on B tier, and I think that this monster is just a little bit less fun than a Ganakator. Yes, the one monster I have on the tier list. I think about Atal Nesto is more about the spectacle. I agree. Less so much the fight. That being said, let's see. It's somewhere. Where do I want to put this guy? Somewhere between. It's either B or C. I'm trying to think. You know, we're gonna put him in C tier. Half the fight, you have to fight him as a wolf, and that's kind of a pain, and I don't like that. And yet you have to do it. All right. And now we move our way up to what is arguably what a lot of people consider to be one of the least fun fights in the game, a Cantor. Thank you, I'm melodic. A Cantor, I've got some, okay, the proof of a hero theme automatically makes up a tier. I mean, it's good, but it's nah. I mean, well, it is part of the fun. Nah, I can't do it. Anyway, a Cantor is one of those monsters that I have a history with. I played a lot of 4U. For those of you who don't know, it's like the first game I played. I constantly tell people this. A Cantor is one of my faves. Right. And it's one of those monsters that's very nostalgic for me. And, okay, I should also keep this in mind. You guys should keep this in mind. I don't use guns, or I use guns a lot, and bows. I use guns and bows a lot. So I always kind of have a bit of range on monsters like this. This guy's big, super easy to hit, and relatively slow moving. However, if you're like a Blade Master, it's like literally you're getting run over just all the time. You're like, you can't react to anything this guy does and walk away. And I will say, okay, Dragon Blight already knocks everything down a tier for me. It like removes an integral part of the game, aka status, and like throws on everything. He looks bulky. Laughs at Adept style. That's true. Right now I'm farming him right now and I'm losing my mind. That being said, I did make a full set of his armor. So clearly I don't hate him that much. Oh my god. This peach fuzz is killing me. Give me a second. I'm going to pour myself a glass of tea before I can think of any more. Ooh, that's got a nice smell to it. Normally I don't like mint tea, but this is a mint citrus green tea, and that's like everything else I like. All right. It's a new tea. Anyway, let's see. A Cantor. He's big-bodied, and that's fun. He's easy to hit, and that's fun. However, everything that he does is unreactable. And on top of that, he has Dragon Blight that just prevents status from working. And he digs underground, and he jumps across the arena. This guy, you know, he goes in D tier. That's an easy D tier. Because, let's be honest, like, I don't know. You can't do anything to him. Unreactable. That is a lie. Okay. Let me rephrase that. Unreactable in terms of, like, if you're not using Adept style. If you're using Adept style and you dodge, you're fine. If you, like, realize that he's doing a move and then you try and roll out of the way of that move as anything that isn't Adept style or aerial style or something like that, you just can't hit him. Like, you can't get out of the way. I've tried several times. Unless you're, like, I don't know, running away, like, at full speed with no weapon. But if your weapon's drawn, you're getting hit. Sorry. Valor dodge for life. I know. All right. Here we go. Is this Alteron? Is that which one this is? Alteron. Let's see. I haven't fought Alteron that much. However, my experiences with him are impossible to hit as a Blade Master. If you're a gunner, you die in one shot. And that's also not fun. Yo, fuck that dragon. And he also has Dragon Blight. He has actually almost every issue that a Cantor does, except for he's even harder to hit. And that's a pain. Like, you just can't hit this guy at all. And he's got like 2 feet that dangle down in front of him that he waggles and like hits you with. It's actually kind of the worst. I don't know if he's actually the worst, but he's definitely bad. In fact, he's everything that a Cantor is except for worse. We're gonna put him in E tier. That's it. That's easy. He has all the elements, so elemental resistance is a pain to cover. Indeed, it is. Nah, he's just bad. I mean, like, I don't know. I like his design. I like him in theory, But in practice, he's impossible to hit. He spends way too much time in the air. You can't flash him. Like, he's got so many issues. So many issues, man. All right. Next up, we got Amatsu. And this is actually a monster I really like in terms of design and in terms of the actual fight itself. Now, that being said, again, I use not blade weapons. I use gun weapons. And, you know, you did my boy dirty. I'm sorry. Amatsu. Yep. So I like this fight a lot. I like the arena that you fight him in. That's super fun. I like the only thing that's a pain is when he's flying around the arena and just firing water beams at you and that one insta-kill move he has. However, I've learned how to deal with the insta-kill move. You just hit him. Like, you just hit him a lot. In fact, he reminds me very, very much so of this guy right here at B tier. Aganator or whatever that monster is. One day I'll pronounce him correctly. Anyway, in terms of like the ability to fire off the basically laser beams, except they're made of water, the only thing that he has is the insta-kill move, which isn't that much of a pain, and he's like easy to stun out of it, which is exactly what this guy does when his head is popped out of the ground. Full name is some weird shit in Japanese. Oh, okay. But like, yeah. I basically think of them as like the same monster at this point. Like they're kind of just similar. I don't know. I like them. Now I have a question for you guys in chat. Do we want to like make this as ordered as possible? So like, do we just put them all in like, let's say B tier, or do you want me to rate them in between? Like go like, oh yeah, this guy goes ahead of this fight, or vice versa, just out of curiosity. I'm gonna leave that one up to you. Any preference in the chat? Don't matter to me. Just in general sign. We can reorder the tier list of all of them or put it on the tier list. I could just do it as is. I can just go like, you know what? I like this guy more than I like Agnator. That's how we can just do it for now. Which in this case, I don't. I like him a little bit less than this guy. He's pretty good, but he's not nearly as good. We're going to make this ordered. There we go. I've made a decision. I asked chat and I made a decision for them. But yeah, no. Amatsu's just a little bit less fun than this guy. This guy's pretty fun. This guy has like that one insta-kill move. This guy doesn't have an insta-kill move. That's pretty much the big difference maker for me. All right. Yes. Next up we have Red Helm. So here's the thing about Red Helm, right? For gunners, it's not fun because he's kind of a tiny monster and pierce bullets don't work on him. If you're playing Blade Master, you bounce off of him because his gauntlets are like unstoppable. Like you just bounce off of these guys and like you can't do anything about it. It sucks. Besides that though, I like his movement a lot. I'm afraid what he's going to say about my boy Brachi / Raging Brachi. We'll see. If he's a deviant, I'll just put them in the same message. No, I mean, I'm not going to rate them the same, though. They're deviants. They're slightly different. So, big fan of fighting Red Helm personally. Same with Sub and Rare Species. All right. But, like, yeah, so, I don't know. So Red Helm, he can be fun. However, the two bouncing mechanics he has, or the fact that he's not fun to hit with swords or guns in terms of like actually hitting him is a little frustrating. Honestly, okay. I might be a little bit biased towards this because of the amount of times I've fought Red Helm EX. But I'm like EX Red Helm is not fun to me. I don't know why. It drives me crazy. And, like, you know, I've done 2 other EX runs, and I have no problem with those 2. So I don't know why Red Helm is just, like, such a pain to me. And, you know, I'm going to say, I don't think he's nearly as much fun as even a Tikal, but he's definitely C tier. We're putting him in C tier, guys. EX is not fun, I will admit. But even in general, like, you know, fighting him, like, sure, he's easy to fight, but, like, in terms of, like, actually just... I don't know. He's got 2 bouncing mechanics. And that's no fun. He jumps all over the place. He runs all over the place. Like, you know, it's not a bad fight. It's not like a Cantor or Alteron, but like, you know, a little less fun than this guy. All right, next up we got this dude, who's basically the same except for with a lack of bouncing mechanics. He doesn't like jump 50 feet in the air like the other guy does. I like this guy. But basically everything I said about him is very similar to Red Helm, except he's better. Let me put it that way. That being said, is he as fun as a Takal? That's a tough one. That's a real toughie. I don't think he is. All right, we're going to put him right there. Kind of right next to each other, but maybe not quite. All right, and now we have Bolt Reaver Astralos. So I like Astralos. As a design, he's really cool, and as a fight, he's really cool. Bolt Reaver is like Astralos, except like he gets lightning beams, and it covers the whole stage, and that's really scary. But I will admit, like, it's kind of cool, and it's a fun thing about the monster that I do enjoy. I will say that I'm not a huge fan when he sucks you into the thing. You know what I'm talking about? When he sends out, like, that little beam, and it's just like, oh, let me put this here, and now you gotta, like, get sucked into it while I charge up something else to, like, smack you with when you hit in the center. This is a monster that will easily, like, 4-man wipe a whole squad on his own. Like, you got a whole squad of people, and this dude is just like, all of them are dead. All of them. I'm going to kill all 4 of you at once. In fact, I have a clip of this guy killing an entire squad of people all at once. Like this guy dude, insurance was activated. This guy dude, this guy dude, this guy dude. In a matter of 30 seconds. If we had the Overwatch team kill sign, it would have been ringing nonstop on this monster. That being said, I do like him. He's super fun to fight. He's a little tricky to flash, but I think that actually adds to the fight just a little bit. The fact that like you can't flash him until you've damaged his head is actually a kind of fun and cool mechanic, because then it forces you to target his head, and then once you recognize that it has broken, then you can start flashing him. It's a little I don't know, it's kind of neat. We're gonna put this guy in A tier. This is gonna be our first A tier monster. Put him up there. Astralos is basically the exact same, except minus the like very scary laser beam and the head breaking mechanic and the magnet pull. And just for not having the magnet pull, he gets above Bolt Reaver. I like fighting regular Astralos a little bit more than Bolt Reaver, personally. You know, this is going to say a lot about me as a Monster Hunter player. Like, I'm over here like, oh yeah, most of the Elder Dragons, they kind of suck. Here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. Like, I don't know, this guy's alright at C tier, but like, but then I like, oh yeah, but like regular Astralos, yeah, A tier. I just like easy fights, I guess, personally. That being said, I'm about to do Baroth. I'm not going to lie, I like this fight. I like this fight a lot. He's super aggressive, and he does a lot of damage, and he chases you all over the place. And he does all the things that I complain about when I fight against Tigrex, and yet I like this monster. I think part of the reason why I like this monster as much as I do is that, for whatever reason, I keep fighting him with aerial style. And every time I do, somebody's like, oh, Baroth wrecks aerial style users. And it's... There's something... Ew, Mr. Hitbox, yeah. But there's something to be said about playing an aerial style, like aerial bow, and just getting away with everything. And having that be very, very boring. Like, okay, every monster on here I've played with aerial bow against, and every single monster is super easy that way, with the exception of Bolt Reaver. Bolt Reaver is the only monster where I struggle with aerial bow. Every other one of these monsters I've done multiple times, and it's never been an issue. Baroth is one of those monsters that I also struggle with when playing aerial bow, but in a way that seems kind of balanced and fair. It's not just like, oh, I see. And for that reason, I'm putting him in A tier. I can't put him in S tier because... And I would say that he's not quite as much fun as Bolt Reaver, but he's up there. We're going to put him right there. All right, so that's Barioth, and now we move on to Baroth. I think that's who this guy is, right? Baroth, yeah. I'm not going to lie. This monster, I don't understand its square. Can I be honest? What? Are you complaining about my Barioth? The natural prey of hammer users. Yes. So I never understood how to look at this monster. I see like this like little circle here as his mouth for whatever reason, and he's like burping up bubbles or something like that. I just don't understand what the square is supposed to be. Every other monster here, it's like, oh yeah, no, I understand it. Even like this dude who I've never even seen before. But this guy, I'm just very, very confused by him. His little image. Yeah. Anyway, that being said, this monster is intriguing to me. I think he's like the only monster that I've ever encountered in all of 4U that has a mud mechanic. Like, no other monster has mud. The closest thing is Narcolos with bones, I guess. But, like, the head at the bottom and his tail is at the top, flinging mud. I guess? I still can't see it, though. I don't know. Like, I understand, like, the crest should be his head, but, like, I still can't register that as a head for whatever reason. It just doesn't make sense to me. What do you mean you haven't seen Alteron? I mean, like, I haven't seen, like, this little image for Alteron. It's always, like, a question mark. Every time you select this quest, all it shows you is a question mark. The same thing can be said about this dude and this dude and, like, I don't know, this dude and, like, I don't know. Whoever Lao Sheng is, I've never seen what Lao... Oh, here he is. Oh, no, I've totally seen that. But everything else, yeah. I'm stuck on Legend of Zelda. Can you help? Help. Of not... Or not of... What? Anyway. Baroth... Okay, Baroth is interesting to me. He's the only monster with a mud mechanic. And his main form of attacking is, like, flinging mud at you or charging you. Both of which I find to be very, very rewarding. Like, when he's just like... Also, okay, there's something to be said about these slender boys that are still big. Again, when I was talking about heavy bowgun, pierce shots are amazing. And part of the reason why pierce shots are amazing is because they're just good. Like, they're crazy good. And they can hit basically most monsters that are, like, relatively big or relatively long and, like, even just slender. If monsters are long and slender, you can send pierce shots this way through the entire monster, and it does big damage. But it adds, like, a bit of a challenge to it. You have to worry about positioning and making sure that you're not hitting that tiny, like, little skinny bit this way. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. If you hit the monster like this, it doesn't work at all. Mycroth. I love that. It's like a small Gamammoth. Oh, that's totally true. But it's faster than Gamammoth, and I don't know. I appreciate that. I like this monster quite a bit. I don't think he's A tier. I think he's definitely B tier. And in fact, I would even put him... Oh, let's see. This one's tricky. I'm debating. He's a fun fight. He does have a kind of a crappy, like, you get stuck in ice mud thing mechanic, but that's okay. He doesn't give you any blights, which is all right. And then, yeah, and he just moves in straight lines, which is also nice. He's like a rook in chess. I'm thinking about it now. Yeah, I'm definitely I'm gonna slap him here in B tier, right in between Aganator and Amatsu. All right, now this one right here might be a little controversial. This guy, this little puppy right here is Basirios. Thank you. Basirios is hilarious to me. I don't know why. He's like a tiny Gravios, and Gravios I also find to be hilarious. I don't know. He doesn't get good drops, and that makes me sad. I really wish that there was better Barioth weapons besides his hunting horn. His hunting horn is great. Don't get me wrong. It sounds like a bass. Angry pet rock, basically. And I love how, like, easy he is to mount. I like how when you cut his tail, he's, like, actually, like, that tiny. Like, his tail is so small. Fire damage is always... I don't know why. Monsters that do, like, fire damage to me just make me happy. Because it's like, oh, here's a mechanic. It's not a big deal. But, like, you know, if you don't deal with it, it might hurt you. And I'm like, that's cool. I'm all right with that. Poison's obnoxious because it could insta-kill you, despite the fact that you shouldn't be insta-killed. I also love how this guy hides in, like, plain sight. Like, he's just like a mountain of rocks, and you, like, walk around, and you might just walk past him your first time fighting him, and then your second time fighting him, you're like, well, I'm not sure which rock he is, so you just go around smacking random rocks. I find that to be hilarious. And the fight itself, the rolling thing that he does is kind of a pain, but I don't know. I don't think it is. I think that you can recognize that he's going to do it and you can get out of the way, and he's super fun to smack around. He's also like, okay, I talked about this before with Aganator, but like monsters that just like fall apart are really fun, and I like how this monster just straight up falls apart. Easily super cool. Same with Nimble Snarf, you just hit the sand. Yeah, that's true. Although this guy's cooler. I don't know why. Rocks are cooler than sand mounds. Sand mounds? Yeah, sand mounds. That being said, he's definitely something that I would put right around here between these two guys. I think he's kind of cool. He's kind of cool with Barryoth, but he's a little bit less fun than Bolt Reaver. He's like right in there. Right in the A tiers. There we go. Balunga. I only know this because I needed to drop from him today. This monster blows. I hate this monster. F tier, easy. I'll give you some reasoning for that though. So he's like Rajang. It's a monkey, F tier. No. That's not why. Well, okay, that might be why. He's like Rajang, but more obnoxious. Yes, we agree. Ice mechanics blow. They eat your stamina and they make you move less slow. I absolutely despise ice mechanics. I know I put Barryoth up in A tier, but that's because he's kind of challenging. This monster has no HP and is not a challenge, and yet he like drives me crazy. Yeah, we had to hunt a hyper version, and he just kept on jumping. Yeah, no, you can't hit him. He's a small monster. He has the small monster syndrome where you just can't hit him at all. Like, I explained this with Red Helm and Azure and all that stuff. Like, you just can't hit this dude. He runs around, he digs underground, he appears underneath you at random times and like just jumps up and smacks you around. He covers you in ice nonstop. He summons minions. He summons smaller monkeys all the time, and like they just keep on like showing up and kicking your ass, and it sucks. I don't know why they do that. Return to ground. Yeah, no, this monster blows. Easily like one of my least favorite monsters in the game. If I never had to fight this guy again, I would be so happy. And yet, you know what? I still, for whatever reason, I do that goddamn Snow Baron quest where he keeps showing up and it ruins my day. Because monkey. Hyper Brachios and Brachiodios. I believe you mean Raging Brachiodios. Let's see. My thoughts on the Raging fight. You know, I've only done this fight like 3 times. In fact, every time I fight him, I have to remember that his hands explode. Oh no. This one's actually very, very tricky for me to rate because of the amount of times I have fought him. It's not a fun fight necessarily. Not with Raging. I don't find it to be like the most fun thing. I was fucked up and too focused on the Hyper Balunga. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that this particular monster is a little bit that's some good tea. Raging Brach is a hard learning curve. It's way easier on ranged users. Yeah, no, and I am pretty much proficient in ranged, and that's why I don't find this fight to be nearly as annoying as I have found it. However, playing just the other day with Forest Raider, we did this fight, and it was not fun with Greatsword. I was kind of sad. I learned the pain of being a sword user while fighting Raging. It's just not fun. It's a bad time. You want to have a bad time? It's like Sans. So I don't consider this fight to be overall that much fun. I was there for that quest. I picked the quest, LMAO. Yes. So that being said though, I definitely like it more than a Cantor. Like this monster's more fun than a Cantor. I'm putting him higher. In fact, I find him slightly more fun than Red Helm. I want to put him here, honestly. Not here. There. I want to put him at like top of C tier. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. This monster sucks. But like he's got some unique mechanics. There's no monster that punishes you for hitting them in the way that this guy does. Like, he's like, yo, you punched my hands, explode. You know what I mean? I think that's hilarious. Don't worry, I won't let Charm Farm affect normal Brachi. I actually really like normal Brachi, but we'll get to that in a second. And again, I am a gun user primarily by trade. And so monsters like this, I don't have to worry about that kind of mechanic, but I do find the exploding hands to be a very interesting thing to have to work around. And I haven't fought him a lot lately, which is why I find it obnoxious as of right now. But it's been a while since I felt a little frustrated, and that's okay. What was it? The other day, so for those of you who don't know, I'm a very proficient yo-yoer. I say very proficient. I'm actually, yeah, very proficient at yo-yoing. There, I said it. And I've been frustrated because I haven't been able to learn any kind of cool new tricks lately. And I know a lot of tricks. I know a lot of really good yo-yo tricks, but I haven't been able to learn any new ones. And like, I don't know, I want that frustration again of being like, oh, how does this work? Like, I'd like, you know, staring at a trick and breaking it down. And that's what this guy is. I just haven't fought Braging enough, and he's kind of, how do I put it? He's got my attention all of a sudden in a way that's very good. That being said, I don't think that the fight itself is anything that unique. And I don't, you know, I can't say that I probably particularly enjoy it after I learned how to fight him. Even after I've learned how to fight him, I probably won't particularly find it fun. That's why he goes here in C tier. Because as of right now, he could be very interesting. He could be lots of fun. I definitely think that right now he's more interesting than Atakal. But I don't think that he's going to be any more interesting than as interesting as I find him right now. And that's not nearly as interesting as Amatsu. So, that's where he goes. Now, for Barachi. Babo, I wish you played Iceborne PS4, lol. I mean, I'm working my way through Iceborne on PC. I would love to play with you, though. Okay, so Barachi, I actually really like this monster. I find it interesting that he like leaves little like slime traps for you to accidentally walk in. Now, if we're talking Barachi in World, this monster blows. I hate fighting him in World. However, I like fighting him in GU. Also, Babo, I've been wanting to get into D&D for the past couple of years. I never had the opportunity to do so because I always thought you needed all these things and all these books and resources, but now I realize that you don't need any of those anymore, so I wanted to know how to game. Dude, hit people up in the D&D Discord that I have on my Discord, or the D&D section on my Discord. We have myself. I'm an avid player. I have my friend Austin's Art. He is an avid DM. He will actually like coach you on how to create characters and all that stuff in 5e, and he's been playing for a very long time. And there's other people who are also like proficient at D&D. Forest Raider is about to get into it, and I plan on, you know, and I can coach anybody through general things, very basic things. Yeah, I put a character ID, no background or anything. Yeah, people will totally like comment on that. Vanilla Barachi is great. Yes, I agree. At least in GU. In World, he kind of sucks. In GU, he's kind of fun. I like it how you don't have to roll 5 times to get slime off of you. That was a pain. Slime traps are neat. I like that. Okay, this is the thing that I like about this monster, and you'll notice that like this happens a lot with a lot of the monsters I like. I like things that have like a form change. This guy definitely has a form change. There's like a point in time when like he's just throwing down large pieces of slime, and then there's a second form when he just explodes all the time. He like sticks his head in the ground and just like explosions rupture up around him. I really like that thing about this monster. And I don't think that he's quite A tier. A tier is really, really, really cool. I find all these monsters to be really cool. But he's definitely like easily top of B tier as of right now. I think he's a lot cooler than basically everything below him. So yeah, that's my thoughts. This monster right here, this monster also sucks. He does the exact same things that this monster does, except for like Bufflongo. He's like everything that this guy does, except for about just as bad. He's easier to kill. We're gonna put him there. F tiers basically boiled down to is it easier to kill him or harder to kill him? This guy's a lot harder to kill than this guy is. That and there's just like nothing good about him. I don't know. He runs in straight lines, and like if he's in the room with you, he's just a pain in the ass, especially as a heavy bow gunner. You just cannot get away from this monster. I've been like in the middle of a fight, and this dude like actually has charged me 6 times in a row, and I have not been on my feet. I'll be in the middle of a fight, and I'm like, I have not been on my feet for the past 3 minutes because this dude and his like little comrades keep on killing me. This guy, Cephalodrome. Yes. This monster blows as well. I will say this. I have not fought him a lot in GU. As soon as I stopped fighting him, I stopped fighting him. I don't fight him anymore. The other thing about Baflongo is the mount animation. Yes, agreed. But yeah, no, Celadrome, I remember fighting him a lot in 4U because for whatever reason, they made you fight him like 6 times. Cephalodrome, I've only probably fought as many times as needed in GU because I dislike this monster a lot. I never will I be like, oh, let's go fight Cephalodrome today, guys. No. That being said, I don't think he's quite F tier. He's not nearly as bad as Baflongo and this dude, or vice versa. I really don't even care about their names. I wouldn't bother to learn them. However, he is about as bad as Fatalis, easy. Because, again, he's like one of those monsters that's impossible to hit, and he pops out of the sand, and he shoots water at you. He's a little easier to kill, so we're going to probably, well, you know what? No, actually, I think he's less fun than this guy is. See, okay, don't get me wrong here. This guy, like, he's hard to hit, and he does all the things, but, like, at least he has something unique about him. This guy has 3 moves, and he's impossible to hit. Like, it's not even interesting. Alteron is at least interesting. Thank you, Zephyr. That's how I feel. Same with Nimblesnarf. Yeah, Nimblesnarf is also one of those monsters that... Okay, I don't know. I'm on the fence about Nimblesnarf. I'll give you my interests on him when we get there. For now, I think I'm going to recover my health, my voice with a bit of tea. With a spot of tea. There we go. All right, Chameleos. Arguably, this is probably one of my favorite Elder Dragons in the game. So again, I have a soft spot for this monster because 4U is like the game that I first played, and this monster was like a fucking mystery to me. My first time fighting Chameleos was like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? I love it. I'm attempting to see if people still play online 4U. Good luck, man. Pink fat butt plug monkey or whatever his real name is. Yes, Chameleos. And I actually really like the clothing this guy makes. It's like all wizardy looking stuff, and it's really cool looking. I don't know. There's something fun about this monster that I very much so enjoy. It's annoying but cool. Yeah, exactly. I don't even think that he's that annoying, honestly. He's got like a giant hitbox. The only thing that like really sucks is his tongue. Any of his tongue moves kind of suck because you get hit by them really hard and you get thrashed, and that's not fun. He steals items. I mean, he does, but that's not a big deal to me. I don't know. There's far worse monsters that steal items, like cats. He turns invisible even when he's painted. The actual fat pink butt plug monkey. But yeah, no, I don't know. Chameleos is super fun. I like this fight a lot. I don't think he's like, again, the best fight in the game, but you know what? He goes in A tier. Boom. There we go. I'm putting him in A tier. You can't stop me. He might be bottom of A tier, but he's definitely an A tier monster for me. Not referring to Chameleos. Oh, you're talking about this guy. Congola. I think that's his name or something like that. It's something like Congola. All right, thoughts on Congola. Are you guys ready for this? I really don't care. Like, I don't know. We do this fight, and it's like, eh. And then we do this fight, and I'm like, eh. And gross shit monkey F tier. No, I can't give him F tier because these two suck, and these two suck way harder, and this guy also sucks way harder. But he's definitely like something I just don't care about at all. Like, you know, you encounter this monster. Let me fix the music because music is being dumb. Yes, I'm still listening. Stop that. Again, when I like the idea that he eats different mushrooms and different breaths like do different effects. I think that's kind of neat. He is one of the few monsters with like a stink mechanic on him, and I don't mind too much, but like I could care less for, I guess. He carries a mushroom on his tail and farts is all I remember from his hunts. He does like, I don't know. So like here, I'll explain some of his moves that I remember. He puffs out his belly that makes him really hard to hit, and then if you hit his belly, while he's doing that, he'll like retaliate. But if you don't hit his belly, he'll just be like, oh, and then like, you know, kind of deflate. He's got at least 3 or 4 different breaths attacks. I think he has a blast one, a para one, a general smell bad one. He likes to jump up in the air and then land really hard on his stomach, which causes like a tremor effect. I don't know. And then like, you know, so like everything about this monster isn't necessarily bad. He's definitely like but like he's also kind of forgettable. He's a small monster, which, you know, I've already expressed my feelings on small monsters. I don't like them. They're hard to hit with guns. Tremor go burr. I don't know. Again, I'm gonna put him somewhere right in between these two guys. There we go. Because like, I don't know, Red Helm is definitely more annoying than he is, but regular Azaros is also just like generally a fun fight. I don't mind him all that much. Like, you know, I like this guy less than this guy and more than this guy. There we go. It's a tier list. That's how these work. And I think that in terms of like how fun the fights are, this guy has way more stun mechanics, while this guy has way less stun mechanics and instead exchanges it for things that force you not to be able to heal, which I think is kind of okay. I mean, like, again, could take it or leave it, but it's better than stun mechanics and bouncing. Okay. Crimson Fatalis, aka the thing that I need parts from, but I'm not vomiting enough or committed enough. Oh my god, that's a way different term. Crimson Fatalis. Oh my god, my lobby on 4U filled instantly. That's amazing. I'm glad that people are still playing 4U. I wish I had a functioning 3DS to play 4U on. But yeah, no. Okay, Crimson Fatty. Red Fatty. This monster, I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of so we always talk about this, like, you know, it's not a Babotosh stream unless we fight Fatalis, and that's all of them. We fight all the Fatalis. However, Crimson might be my least favorite out of all of them. I don't really like any of them, to be very, very exact. But the fact, like, I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. They're all the same to me. They all feel the same. This guy summons meteors. This guy, like, does flamethrower, which I don't like flamethrower that much out of all of them. And then White Fatty is just like, I fly away, and you get to run around for 2 minutes while your teammates die, I guess. My L button is broken on my 3DS, and my R button is broken on my 2DS. Red Fatty is C tier for me. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Just grinded out Old Fatty event and got the GX Old Fatty Summer. Like, oh yeah, I did see that, Panda King. I saw you posting that in my Discord. I was like, good job. Glad to see it getting done. But yeah, no, Red Fatty, I would definitely. It's hard. He like, I don't know. He's a D tier monster for me. The question is, does he go above or below a Cantor? I hate to say it, he goes below a Cantor. Like, okay, a Cantor's a D tier monster, but like, I still like him. And like, he's at least, you know, hittable, and this guy sucks. I don't like him. Sorry, I just tore off a piece of skin and like, just totally started bleeding, like a ton. I've not seen my finger erupt and like bleeding that much in a while. All right, anyway. Yes. We've got Dynamo Hamatar and his Deviant. I'm too lazy. I think it's like Stone Fist or Stone Claw or something like that. It's Stone something. All right, we got Stone. I'm just gonna refer to him as Stone. This fight I actually find kind of enjoyable. Not like crazy enjoyable, but kind of enjoyable. There's gonna be a lot of C tiers. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. There's a lot of C tiers. I've always been a person who can't be like, oh yeah, no, 100% agree or 100% disagree. Never been my type. I'm definitely the type of guy that I'd hate a monster enough, I'd just make a set from them just as a trophy that I almost made a species extinct. Stonefist is too scary for me to have fun. I mean, it's kind of a scary fight, but at the same time, like, I don't know. He's basically the same thing as this dude is, the Dynamos Hermitar, you know. I feel like their fights are nearly identical, except for this guy has Big Claw, and that's like the biggest difference. Honestly, if I'm being honest. Oh, actually, you know what? No. I like this crab. I don't like the other crab. Shogun? Shogun can go suck the big one. But this guy, I actually kind of like him. He has a couple of like mechanics where he just instantly blocks everything. Like you just have to respect him. You gotta go in and respect what he does. But then as soon as you start respecting what he does, then it's just like, oh yeah, go in, wait, punish, go punish, pull back, punish. Like it's just kind of a waiting game. Daimyo gets bullied. Stonefist can destroy you. Yeah, I agree. But I think that because Stonefist can destroy you, he's actually like one of the more fun monsters in the game. Like, okay, these monsters are not going to destroy you, and yet they are the least fun monsters to fight. In fact, I can kill this monster in like 4 hits with like half of my sets, and I still hate him. You know what I mean? This monster is a huge pain in the ass. He's like he's such a pain and like goes all over the place, but like, yeah, I like fighting him. As you guys can see, I like a bit of difficulty. Stonefist goes here. He's a little bit more fun than this guy because, I don't know, the fight isn't nearly as long, but I like, and he's not quite as intriguing to me as Raging is right now. So every time I fight Raging, I still have fun with him. But this guy, like, you know, I have plenty of fun fighting this guy. He's a fun fight. And he's a little bit challenging. Hermitor is almost identical in every single way, except like he doesn't threaten you nearly as much. And so for that, he goes like, I don't know. He's not scary. He's less scary. It's funny. I go between like, oh yeah, challenging monsters, and then like, but also Basirios is up here. Like, I don't know. Breaking the shells on the crabs is the funniest thing ever. Just this little nub under his shell. Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, regular Hermitor, you know what? He gets bullied easy, but he's still like, he's kind of boring. I don't know. I'm going to put him in D tier, sadly. He definitely goes above a Cantor. A Cantor is just not fun. This guy, he's almost fun. Almost. He's just like, if he was a little bit harder, I'd be happy with him. Gizmazio's time. No, we still got some time. All right. Here we go. Enraged Devil Joe. This monster's a nightmare. So, okay. I've already expressed my opinions on Dragon. I hate Dragon. I don't like defense down. This should be... Look at a Cantor. You see where a Cantor sits? He does a defense down and Dragon, and I hate both of those things. Except for a Cantor has insta-kill moves. Enraged Devil Joe is not a fun fight. I don't think it is. I think it's more fun than Hermitor, but I still think it's not really the most fun fight in the world. He's kind of a pain. Oh, also, let me point this out. Chicken legs. Can we talk about chicken legs? I'm about to talk about chicken legs. Monsters that have chicken legs are not fun to fight against. You cannot hit them. And this monster is like the king of chicken legs. He's got 2 little nubs and he's gigantic. I don't know how you can be gigantic and have 2 little nubs that support that, but you can't hit his nubs. It's like literally impossible. Yeah, no, I don't like this monster. He's like okay. There's like a criteria for like monsters to be good, right? You have to either be able to hit the monster or like, you know, like, okay, a monster should be challenging to hit because the monster does something that makes it challenging to hit. The monster should not be just challenging to hit. This monster is just challenging to hit because of his goddamn chicken legs. I hate chicken legs. They can go suck a big one. Notice these guys? Impossible to hit, impossible to hit, impossible to hit, impossible to hit. This guy is also impossible to hit. He's just better to hit than like all of these guys because these guys' fights are just not fun. That's how I feel. He's hard to hit because of the chicken legs, and he's tanky as fuck. Yes, no, I completely agree. Like, I don't know. A Cantor is tanky as fuck, but at least you can hit him. But like, you know, I don't know. I feel like the just outrageous tankiness of a Cantor. You know, actually, you know, I'm gonna do it. A Cantor goes higher. Did I put this guy here? I swear I put him here. Am I crazy? Yeah, that's right. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's been an hour and we're only on D and about to get to F. I mean, that's all right. It was. I said it was going to be a short stream. It looks like it's not going to be a short stream. That's okay. But yeah, no. Goddamn chicken legs. I hate goddamn chicken legs. They're the worst. This monster is worse than a Cantor. I said it. Devil Joe. He's just like Enraged, except not nearly as tanky. And as a result of that, he goes there. They're basically the same monster, except for this guy's really scary. This guy you can take a hit from. But yeah, no, that's my thoughts. People always talk about how like cool the pickle is, and I go, how do you like the pickle? You can't fucking hit him. His goddamn chicken legs make it impossible. And maybe that's because I'm bad at the game. I don't know. I don't like to think I'm that bad at the game. I play this game way too much to be that bad at the game. That being said, I do play Gunner, so that tends to help me deal with chicken-legged monsters. But like even as aerial bow, which is like a set that I pride on being able to hit monsters with, I cannot hit these monsters with. Like aerial sets, like you can't bounce on anything. Like they got giant circles as hitboxes. Summon Niedric. Oh my god, that's still available. All right, I guess we have to talk about Devil Joe as Niedric. Let me get some tea. All right. So, the thing about Devil Joe is very, very simple. I like Bloodbath. We're gonna start with Bloodbath, okay? Okay, hear me out. So Bloodbath Devil Joe is kind of cool, and here's why. Bloodbath Devil Joe is slow. He's kind of slow moving. I mean, you know, he charges you, sure, but like that's not the same as being fast. This monster's fast. I don't know why he's fast, but he is fast. When this monster comes at you, you cannot get out of the way. When this monster comes at you, you can get out of the way. I don't think you seem to understand. So, Bloodbath is not fast. This monster is also fast, but we're going to get to that in a minute. The other thing about Bloodbath is, I think I clarified this earlier when I said, when monsters have form changes, I'm happy. Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute. You see this guy? This guy has form changes. Do you see this guy? This guy has form changes. You'll notice that this guy does not have form changes. I like form changes. It's just that easy. You see this guy? This guy has form changes. Like, if we took out the mechanical wolf thing, A tier, easy A tier, simple as that. This guy has form changes, and I like that. And I like that actually a lot more than any of the monsters in C tier. Bloodbath is also one of the first monsters I ever finished the EX for. Don't ask me why. It wasn't my EX, it was somebody else's. That's why I don't have the color for it. But the fight itself, I actually really enjoy. And so as a result of that, he gets my bottom B tier, as of right now. I don't think he's quite nearly as fun as Amatsu is, but he's pretty close, if I'm being perfectly honest. Bloodbath ended up on my S tier list. It's just such a tense fight. I mean, yes, but I have other S tier monsters that I like to fight more than this guy. This guy's cool, don't get me wrong. That's why he's B tier. Anything that's in B tier, I genuinely enjoy fighting. C tier is kind of an eh. D tier is like a no, don't make me fight this thing. And E tier is like, oh my god, you either didn't exist or please to god don't let me fight this thing. And F tier is just don't even be in the game. That being said, regular Devil Joe is very similar to Bloodbath. It's kind of a it's like a. All right, are you guys familiar with Pokemon? This is where we're going with this. Pokemon had Scyther and Scizor, right? Okay. You follow with me here. Scizor was very fast and had a lot of attack. And what they did is they took Scizor and they transferred his speed stats into his defense and made Scyther. This is Scizor, that is Scyther. And so what I can tell you right now is that Devil Joe is very simple. Not Devil Joe. Diablos is actually very similar to Scyther. He's very fast. He hits a lot of things. He hits hard. However, he does not have form changes. And as a result of that, the lack of form changes puts him just right below Bloodbath. I actually like both of these monsters quite a bit. They're fun. When you break the parts off, they go flying. It's amazing. Everything about these monsters is actually pretty great as a fight.
But in terms of like, they're not quite as much fun as Amatsu. I'm sorry. Honestly, I'm kind of questioning Baroth now. But like, you know, that's besides the point.
Niedric is gonna go away now, but yeah, no, that's generally my thoughts on it. I think this guy is just a little bit less fun than this guy because this guy has form changes. This guy does not. But that being said, they're both great fights. So what you're saying is that when Bloodbath goes into Steam mode, he's undergoing Mega Evolution. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Moving onwards, we have Durambos. This monster, Durambos. I'm gonna Durambos. That's what I'm calling him. Beyblade. That's right. Let him rip. I love this monster. This monster is hilarious. He's got like 6 moves. He like charges you and he like thrashes his tail around and he spins in circles. And I love things that spin in circles. He doesn't have a form change, and you know that's interesting to me. But he's super fun. When you topple him over, it's like he just like crashes into the ground. He's like, yeah, no. Again, he's so simple yet so great. The like if you gave him like, I don't think you can cut his tail. If you could cut his tail and like break his horns, he might be even more fun to fight. But like as of right now, he's still very, very fun. Would I put him as high as Chameleos? No. But would I put him higher than Brachi? Yes. Easy. I still think that he is an A tier monster easy, but he might be bottom of A tier. Love fighting him, but yeah, no, it's just like sometimes he'll just crash on his own, and that's hilarious. I agree. I think that he's a very fun monster to fight. However, I don't think that he's yeah, I think he's fun to fight, but I don't think he's like nearly as much fun as Chameleos. Chameleos has like a lot of different things that it does. It like puts up steam, it puts up all of this cool stuff. This guy, he like spins in circles, and that's really fun. I like it. I'm very simple. I like circles. All right. Next we got Black Fatty. Old Fatty? I can't remember. Is it? Anyway, this guy. We got this dude. Remember what I said about Crimson Fatalis? How I thought meteors were bullshit? I've fought this particular Fatalis like 3 times in like recent years. And by recent years, I mean like last stream I fought this dude like 6 times, it felt like. And it was miserable. His flame breath like actually just kept hitting me. He like, so you think that you're safe. Okay, everything I said about Crimson still applies here. Obviously, it's still fatty. But like this dude, I could have sworn it was easier to like dodge his hits, but I learned that it's not. It's just harder. And so as a result of that, I think he and Crimson are like exactly the same. I don't know why. This guy has bullshit meteors that like just randomly fall on you. This dude's got flame breath where he backs up into a corner and like you can't do anything, or he pushes you into a corner and you can't do anything. I don't like it. No me gusta. That flamethrower crosses the country. Yes. No, it does. It burns everybody across the world. And I'm not gonna lie, I hate it. I hate it worse than Crimson. Nope, not fun. All right, moving on. We got Elder Frost. So when I was so in the Discord, I asked whether or not you wanted to be rate monsters on how much I like them or how much fun they are to fight. This is one of those monsters I think is really, 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 really cool. I think that elephants aren't. I think that mammals in general in Monster Hunter are heavily underrepresented. We need more mammals. However, they gotta make them more interesting, please. Because this dude, Elder Frost, Mammoth, and Mammoth, yeah. Elder Frost, he's kind of boring. I don't know. He doesn't do a whole lot. Like, he's big. He fits one of the Babotosh criterias for me to like enjoy him. He's a big monster. He ain't no tiny little impossible to hit guy. He's not even skinny. He's fat. This dude is big. His charge moves makes me cry. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I feel like he's more fun than perhaps a Takal. I think a Takal is a fun fight. Well, I wish that this guy's insect form lasted longer, but it doesn't. And as a result of that, This guy ends up getting bumped up ahead of him, I think. Not by much. Part of the reason why I also like this monster is, in fact, that some might say he's thick. Yes. But I don't know. There's parts of his fight I actually do enjoy. I like the idea that when you fight him, he starts to pick up new tricks compared to Gamammoth. Gamammoth, like, when he, like, raises his hind legs and sits there, he has one thing that he does, and he slams them back down. This dude will sit on you, and I find that to be hilarious. This guy's like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then he sits down on you, and you're just like, oh, wow, that sucks. I find that to be funny. It is an ice monster. You'll notice that, actually, these two are also ice monsters, but, like, I don't know. I don't like ice monsters that much. This guy, though, he's kind of interesting in some regard, and he's an elephant, and, like, he's big. He's big. He's excusable because he's big. This guy's also big, but he doesn't sit on people, and so that's less fun. But for the most part, like, I don't know, they're solid C tiers. They're not the best things to fight, but, like, I'm not gonna complain. Gendrodome? Okay. So remember when I said I hated small monsters? I don't know why, but it doesn't apply to Gendrodome. And that might just be purely because of the music. Gendrodome, like, okay, all the drones musics are amazing. I like Gendrodome. I like the other one. I like the, like, Isopray. I like Great Mako. All of these tiny monsters I find hilarious to fight because of the tune that plays. And you don't get to hear it often enough, in my opinion. And for that, it's almost exclusively that reason. I would almost put this guy into... Honestly, if there was a Gendrodome tier, I would just put them into the Gendrodome tier, and it would exist right here between B and C. That's what I would do. Can I do that? No, I cannot. Okay. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. I was very concerned there for a second. But yeah, no, I definitely enjoy Gendrodome. I think that actually... I don't know. I think they exist. All of the drums just exist in B tier. I like this guy. I like this guy. A little bit less than this guy. This guy has paralysis, but this guy has ice, and I don't like ice. We should make that known. In fact, let's just grab all these guys. This guy has poison. He lives there. Great Mako is the best out of all of them. And if I missed one, oh, this guy. This guy's also fun. He goes ahead of these guys. There we go. Boom. I forget this drum's name. We're just gonna rank them all right now because they're all exactly the same. They all fight the same, except this guy spits poison, this guy paralyzes, and this guy shoots ice, and ice is the worst. And Great Mako is the coolest because holy shit, look at Great Mako. He's got a tail. He's got a boingy tail. When you smack him and he just, like, flops over, I love that. Sorry, all of them are exactly the same to me though. Like, look at their portraits. They're all exactly the same. They move the same, they do the same, but, like, they each got a different form, but I like them all. All of them are great. Good Makos. They got a place here, you know. All right. That took care of a lot of monsters right there. How many monsters do we have? I think maybe... I was going to say about halfway, but I don't think that's halfway. Anyway. All right, moving onwards. We got Glavenus and Hellblade. So remember when I talked about chicken legs? Easy to bully. No. Actually, I hate these monsters. I can't. And part of the reason is because they scare me. Okay, as a longsword user, they're not fun for a gunner. They're not fun for an aerial user. These guys have chicken legs, right? And as a result of that, they are impossible for me to hit. I can't hit these guys at all. I do enjoy... Yes, I agree, Wolver. That's in fact exactly what I was going to talk about. I love how satisfying or countering the tail is. I like cutting the tail. When you cut the tail off of either the Glavenus or the Hellblade, it just flies up in the air. It sticks into the ground. It's actually amazing, and I do love that about them. I also love how you're able to smack them and they just explode. Like if you hit the face hard enough, they're just like, oh, and they like fall and tumble into a corner. Like there's just so many good things about these monsters. Yes, Zephyr, you nailed it. You nailed the exact thing that I like about these monsters. So, with that being said, I think I would rate... it's hard. I like Glavenus more than I like Hellblade. There we go. I said it. And as a result of that, I think these guys are not great monsters. They're not B tier for me. Everything in B tier, like I prefer fighting all the drums and Devil Joe and Bloodbath and all of these guys to these guys. That being said, I still think that they are better than... Oh, come on, you. Get in there. Fine. No. There we go. I think that this is the exact order that I would put them in. Yes, there we go. I like Hellblade more than I like regular Glavenus than I like Hellblade. Hellblade kind of scares me, and I don't know, Blast is a dumb mechanic. But, like, I don't know. I do like their drive-bys. I find that to be hilarious. When I watch somebody else get drive-by'd, like the Glavenus is just running in a circle, and they're just like... and they, like, shoot a fireball sideways at a monster. It's hilarious. Honestly, I don't know what Chaotic Gore does differently. You know, that's a great question. I don't either, actually. But I like it. Okay, I told you, I'm a sucker for 4U things. You'll notice that a lot of the top tier monsters are monsters that I enjoyed in 4U. Is what I would have said if that was actually true. That appears to not be true. Well, we haven't done a lot of 4U, but let me specify. I definitely like 4U. Basically, a Shadur Magala, but in rage state is danger. Yeah, no, I definitely like these monsters a lot. And I told you, I'm a sucker for form changes, and these guys have one hell of a form change. And like when you smack their horns and they get pissed at you after you break them out of their form change, I like that a lot too. The frenzy mechanic is really cool because it forces you to be aggressive in a way that I find to be very fun. You normally don't get to do that. Like if Shagru is an enraged Gore, then Chaotic is an enraged Shagru. Okay, I could see it. So out of all of these, I think that these guys are solid B tiers. In fact, I would even put them ahead. I would put this guy right around here ahead of Baroth. And I think Gore is just slightly... Chaotic is my favorite, actually. Out of all of the ones that I get to fight, Chaotic is just straight up my favorite. Or no, actually... Yeah. Chaotic is my favorite out of all of them. It's kind of got like... I don't know. It's kind of special to me. You don't get to fight it very often, and it's super cool. And all of that stuff. And then Gore is also fun. He's just, kind of a child to me. But like a really fun child. I don't know. All good stuff. Gravios. All right. So this one might be super controversial. I'm going to throw that out there right now. I believe that Gravos actually belongs in S tier. I love this monster so much. You guys can have no fucking clue how much I love this monster. This monster goes back like to 4U again. The first time I played Monster Hunter. But Babo, it has chicken legs. It does. I don't care. I don't care if it has chicken legs. Hold the phone. No. Gravios is actually like one of my favorite monsters in the whole game. It literally falls apart. You can mount it so many times. It stands for everything that 4U was to me as a child. Even the chicken legs. The chicken leg rule. I don't care about the chicken leg. You can still hit this monster. The chicken leg... chicken leg rule applies to monsters that you literally can't hit because they have chicken legs. When the Devil Joe is too big, all you can target is its legs. It's teeny weeny tiny little legs. Same thing with these two guys, except like they're slightly better. This guy you can always hit. It doesn't matter what size the Gravios is. I've fought the biggest Gravios and still hit him in the in the neck area. Easy. I can hit him in the tail area. Easy. I can hit him in the legs because he has massive chicken legs. The mechanic of firing the laser and then releasing the exhaust as heat is super cool. You've forsaken us. You made us believe that nothing with chicken legs will get above C tier, and you made it S tier. No. There's other things, though. So like, again, 4U was about mounting monsters, and this is the easiest monster in the game to mount, along with Basirios. There's a reason why Basirios is, like, also A tier. The biggest thing with Gravios though is like it literally crumbles. Like as you fight this monster, every single piece of it falls apart, and I find that to be incredibly satisfying when I fight it. It has laser beams, which I love. I like the heat, like a mechanic. It has sleep mechanic. You guys know how I feel about sleep bombing. I don't know why, but like I like the fact that this guy is practically a sleep bomber. He's like a tank. And the armor set heavily reflects that. Again, I'm super biased, but this is my biased tier list. Like, I'm allowed to be. No, Gravios is easily, like, one of my favorite monsters in the whole game, and every time I fight it, I'm just excited. I literally get excited to fight this monster all the time. And I find it hilarious how many people hate this monster, and, like, every time I fight it, I'm like, yes! I get to fight Gravios again. Super fun. Super fun monster, easy to hit, lots of explosions. It moves big and like carries itself in a way that's just like really, really like slow and monotonous, but it just covers so much area, and like you just got to be positioned correctly, and pierce shots do so much cool things to it. You can use normal level 3 shots and you have a chance of it actually ricocheting 9 times. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, no, we'll move on. There's a reason Gravios is just my favorite monster in the game, along with like one other, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Trust me. But yeah, no, onwards to Gypsirops. Gypsirops? Or Gypsirops. There we go. I don't know. Anyway, this guy, Flash Monster. Okay, so again, one of the first monsters I fought in For You. Yo, what the yo, fuck that thing. I actually kind of enjoy this fight. I find it funny. I like his like wiggly waggly tail. I find it to be very silly and fun. And I like every time I get hit by it, I just like kind of is like, it's a wiggly waggly tail. I guess I got hit by it. I will say that the flashing mechanic it has is very annoying. But I'm also a very good masher. So like every time he flashes me, it's like not really that big of a deal. It's just like, oh, you flashed me. Let me mash my buttons real fast and not get hit by from anything. The only good thing I get from this guy is dash extract. I mean, that's fair. I don't know. Again, I like this monster a lot. I like it when you cut off its tail. I think you can cut off its tail, right? I'm not crazy. Last time, if I remember correctly, you could cut off this thing's tail and it like wiggles and waggles around like a lizard tail when you pull off a lizard tail by accident. But yeah, no, I don't know. I kind of like this monster. Nothing needs his parts. I mean, you're right. But like, I also, okay, you cannot cut off his tail. Okay, never mind. I was wrong. Maybe that was a dream I had. But yeah, no, I actually very much so like this monster. The fight itself, though, it's good, but it's not perfect. I think he's more fun than all the drones, but he's not nearly as much fun as Diablos. And I'm going to put him there for that. I do like his like passing out mechanic because it adds an interesting element to the game. I love it when this monster fakes being dead. And I find it, like, I thought it was hilarious the first time I fought this monster when I was like, oh, it's dead. And then I walked up to it and I started carving it, and then it woke up and like, basically insta-killed me in 4U. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, this is the only monster who does that. I think it's hilarious. All right, Ketchawampa. Ketchawampa. So remember when I talked about form changes? This is like OG form change. This is like the first monster you meet in the whole game that has a form change, and I think that's awesome. It's got like, and I like also, I told you like mammals get underrepresented in this game, and this dude is like the definition of a mammal. He's like half elephant, half something else, butterfly. I don't know. Flying squirrel. We'll say that half or part flying squirrel, part monkey, part elephant, and I like that. The water damage is a little bit obnoxious, but it's something that I could live with. Flying squirrel demon grew on me. Yeah, no, for sure. And, like, here's the thing. I really wish that there was a good G-rank set that you can make out of this. I made it. It's not good. Like, okay, it's good for bows. It's like a stamina machine. This guy never stops. But, no, I love this monster. I also like it when you tear it apart. So when you take apart this monster piece by piece, and you damage its ear that also doubles as like a mask, it actually like when it tries to go back into its other form, it can't entirely because part of its mask is damaged, and I think that's really cool. I think he's... Oh, man, where do I put this guy? Give me just 1 second. This guy does not belong here. I keep looking at this. I go, no, hell no, absolutely not. He goes here. This guy definitely goes up, though. I think he actually sits... He sits higher than just Europe's, but not by much. He's definitely a B tier monster. Super fun to fight. Definitely enjoyable. Not the worst. Okay, onward Ketsu. So, for those of you who know me, I love music. I absolutely adore music. This dude has no music, and I hate it. I hate it so much. In fact, like, that's part of, like, if this guy had a sick tune, in fact, if he had one of these guys' tunes, I'd be so happy to fight him, like, every single time. But he doesn't. He has no music, and it's, like, the most unfun thing to me. And so as a result of that, he has the best theme. Burn that freaky ass eating parasite lizard worm. Yeah, no, not a fan. I really don't like Ketsu. Ketsu is... He goes down there with the crab. I'm sorry, man. I think he's more fun than crab, but not like that. That's it, man. Don't lie, Babo. He has a bombing theme. You know what? When we get to hear him in when we get to hear his theme, his remixed theme in Rise, maybe my mind will change. But as of right now, it kind of sucks. All right, Kieran. Kieran's a weird case for me because I like its design. I like its design so much. We don't have any horses, let alone unicorns. And this guy's a unicorn, and I like it. However, he does follow by the impossible to hit rule. He follows the you bounce off of him like 50% of the time, man. He follows the tiny monster rule. He follows all of these things. Thank God he's not an ice monster, because otherwise he'd be an A tier. But because he's not an ice monster, he gets put in the bottom of C tier. There we go. He's because his entire body is bounceable, he's like Red Helm except worse. But he's better than all these guys because these guys blow. Ursher Kitchen is a nightmare. Oh, big agree. And because he's so small, everyone just goes to its head and we all hit each other. Kushladora. Yes, moving on to Kushladora. Usha Kieran is an ice monster, though. He is an ice monster, and that's a pain. Yeah. So moving on to Kushladora. This is another weird one because I want to like its fight. I want to like its fight so much. Like, okay. I have a friend of mine, and they came up to me one day, and they were like, I hate olives, and I wish I liked them so much. Like, I just wish I liked olives, but I don't. I hate olives. And I feel the same way about Kushladora. I want to like this monster so much. But every time I fight him, it's just a miserable experience. Wait, how did Dora work for you guys? As a what? What do you mean, how did Dora work for you guys? Was it in English and you learned English? No. Wait, what? No, Dora the Explorer spoke Spanish, but like she only spoke English most of the time, and then she would say Spanish words occasionally. I think actually that's interesting. Does Dora the Explorer like teach you English in other countries? That's very bizarre. It was in English, but like, yeah. So she's like, oh, come on, like vámonos, and like vámonos is Spanish for let's go. But like she'd be like, come on, let's go. Hey, I don't remember how the song went. I never had cable. Come on, vámonos, everybody, let's go. That's it. But yeah, so that was that. Yeah, so that's how it worked. But yeah. Anyway, because where I live, she speaks Spanish and teaches Spanish. Interesting. Yeah, no, she definitely spoke English here, but still taught Spanish. I always thought it was useless. You know, that's hilarious. I find that hilarious that they still had her teaching Spanish, and yet she also still spoke Spanish. Here, no. Here she spoke English and taught Spanish, which was actually kind of interesting. I knew more Spanish than her, though, which, as a very young kid, was very interesting to me. Anyway, yes, back onto Kushladora. I want to like its fight. Can't like its fight. It's a little bit obnoxious, but like, you know what? It's not as obnoxious as these guys. E and F tier. Oh my god, these guys blow. And you know what? I think I'm gonna put it right underneath a Cantor. It's like almost a Cantor. It's like right around the same level. I want to like these monsters. Like a Cantor I fought so many times, and he has a soft spot. In fact, it's kind of a miracle that he's even D tier. But he's in D tier. And Kusha's also one of those monsters I just really, really want to like. And For You was like, hey, here's this really cool dragon thing. And I went, wow, that's a really cool dragon thing. And then never was able to find it. I have the name, hola, mi nombre es Dora. Y este es mi amigo Diego. Etched into my mind, yes. Hello, my name is Dora, and this is my friend, Diego. Laggy is like Pikachu main if did down smash the entire fight. I mean, yes. However, I like Laggy a lot. There, I said it. I think the Laggy fight is super fun. In fact, I actually compared it to like what a black mage would be in like a Final Fantasy game. Like a nearly purely offensive like powerhouse when it comes to like mid-range. It like sends lightning out all over the place. It has explosions. I don't know. I like this guy a lot. It's stuck in there like a popcorn kernel in between some molars. I came back to find Graphios at S. Betrayal. Yeah, no, sorry. I like Lucky a lot. I don't think he's like one of the... I'm not going to put him in S tier. Don't worry about that. In fact, I don't even think he belongs in A tier. But he's definitely going in B tier somewhere. I like this monster a lot. I find the fight to be super fun. He's one of those long boys that's really easy to hit, and I enjoy that about him. And as a result of that, I'm going to put him... where do I want to put him? I'm going to put him right behind Ketchawampa. He doesn't have form changes, and that hurts me. But besides that, I like this monster as a concept. We don't have any monsters that move like Laggy do, that have the moves that Laggy do. We got like 5 of the same monsters, and I put them all in B tier. Like, this guy has to be all right. Snow Baron, Lagombai, and Lagombai. All right. You want to be really honest about these guys? You want to be brutally honest with these guys? I wish I could have said I liked them because I made almost a set and a half of armor with them, but I fucking hate these monsters. They're so bad. They just throw ice at you, and they go all over the place, and they're impossible to hit, and the only reason why I'm able to fight them is because I have fucking paralysis weapons. Like, paralysis and mounting. That's all I have. That's all I can do. The rabbits are fun to parry. I'm just sick to death of fighting them a billion times. I know. It's so bad. Ivory Ligurius and his other rare species, I think, was Void Ligurius. They had really cool design. Oh, I would have loved to see that. But yeah, no, Snow Baron blows, and so does Lagombai. Lagombai is easier because he's less of a pain in the ass, but like, honestly, I'm putting Snow Baron here. Like, the right there, and regular Baron goes right there. They both suck. This guy I still hate more than both of them. I find that to be a miracle. But like, yeah, no, I hate these guys. Not a fun fight, personally. It just boils down to running, sheathing, getting stomped, and then like getting drop kicked. Thanks. Ivory was white and Void was just straight up dark as the Void. Man, I would have loved to see that. And like, imagine lightning with a giant dark dragon. Yeah, no, it would have been great. All right, Lao Shang. Lao Shang sucks. Man, I hate Lao Shang. This monster blows. Like, seriously, you play a cutscene for 25 minutes, and then the monster still didn't die and you lost the fight. That's what this monster is. I do like his armor set, almost, except, like, I don't know. Lao Shang sucks. I hate this monster. Honestly, because of how much time it takes to fight him, he goes bottom of bottom tier. Like, this monster, I hate this monster. I can't do anything against him. I actually, like, I don't even know how to fight him properly. I just throw cannonballs at him, and, like, that seems to work. Lao is kind of fun. I don't know. I hate him. I'm sorry. I'm bored as fuck when I do that fight. I feel like I could just, like, do anything else with my life for 25 minutes. Too bad that they were pretty much 3 and 3U exclusives. Yeah, I hope that we get some more. I hope this monster comes back for Rise. I hope we get some more variants, because variants were fun. All right, moving onwards. Is this Lavisloth? I want to say it's called Lavisloth. But yeah, no, this monster, the firefish. I kind of like the firefish. I think that, yo, fuck that fish. Oof. No, I kind of like this fish. Like, he's not, like, at least for what he is. Everybody complains about him. They're like, dude, put this shit in E tier. And I'm like, nah, like, no, he's not that bad. I kind of like it. At least compared to you. Lava Seoth. Yeah, no. You know, first off, he's fire damage. Fire damage does not bother me, like, at all. And I find it hilarious. Like, this fish is just, like, coughing up fireballs all over the place. He, like, dashes around the room. When you mount him, he, like, wiggles and waggles like a fish out of water. Despite the fact that he has legs, I find that to be hilarious. I want to grab it by the tail and slam its dumb fucking head on a rock. I don't know. He's also a big monster. I really like fighting big monsters. That being said, I think he's still... I'd still put him in C tier. And I think he actually belongs right... But he belongs right in between Hellblade and regular like, Glavenus. Like, I don't know. Hellblade kind of sucks. I'm not a fan. Like, he's alright. But, like... In fact, you know what? Hellblade goes there. There we go. I changed it. It was like, what if Magikarp had legs and was a fire type? I actually had a fire type Magikarp Pokemon card. You say better watch what you say when it comes to Plesioth, though. I mean, we'll see. I say lots of things. But yeah, no. I think he's one of the more fun monsters to fight. I definitely don't think but like, he's not nearly as much fun as anything up here. He's alright, though. He's better than all this stuff. Alright, Nightcloak and regular Malfestio. I love these monsters. I love these monsters so much. How many birds do we have? We have, like, these two. These are, like, the two birds. And I love them. I do think that the dizzy mechanic is just ever so slightly annoying, but it is a fun challenge. Putting this on the background while I clean. But hi, y'all. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Lane. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope it's treating you well. Or, I guess, happy post-Valentine's Day. It kind of just passed a minute ago. I'm over here rating Monster Hunter monsters with a nonsense tier list. Gisoprops is a bird. It shoots fireballs. That doesn't count. Anything that shoots fireballs doesn't make it a bird. Also, the music stopped. You know, we're changing up the music a little bit. MHG music. I'm listening to the same stuff forever. Here we go. Full soundtrack. Let's see, can you guys hear that? Yeah, apparently. All right, but like, yeah, no, I just shoots poots, Kaku shoots fire. Either way, they shoot stuff out of their mouths. Birds don't do that. Well, actually, they do. They do exactly that, but that doesn't matter. Ketsu is scientifically determined to be trash. I agree. But yeah, no, I like Nightcloak Malfestio a lot. I think, and I enjoy the fights of them too. Like, I don't know, there's just something fun. Although they're solid B tiers for sure. I think I like regular Malfestio just a tad bit more than Nightcloak, and I'd put them right around here. Like they're better than Ketchawumpa. They like, I like the fight, and the fight lasts for a decent bit, much longer than this fight. If they had an advanced Ketchawumpa fight, I'd be so down, but they don't. So I definitely enjoy these two guys, and but they're not nearly as good as everything else above them, in my opinion. All right, and now on to Mitsune. Mitsune is really cool, and I'm excited that they're in Rise because I like this fight a lot. Mitsu gives me fear. Mitsu gives me the right kind of fear, though. Like, Solseer, yeah. I think that they are solid high tiers, for sure. I would definitely put Solseer somewhere right around here. The reason why I do that is because, first off, it has a form change, and I think that's really cool. Second off, well, actually, they both have form changes. And they're both really difficult boss fights. Anyway, I feel like no need to fight over who tells us what monsters are coming up. But yeah, no. It's all right. I could do the job as well. I could steal all your jobs. I'm the robot coming to steal your job. No, Soulseer is a fun fight. I like how it like the dual typing actually kind of bothers me a little bit because fire and water are really hard to cover, and this guy does tons of damage. Like this is one of those monsters that will kill you if you're not careful, like at all. And it's super dangerous because of that. And if you like, you know, we were just talking about how Alteron, all the way down in here in E tier, has like all of the elemental thingies, and like having to deal with that is a huge pain in the ass. Mitsu suffers from the Soulseer suffers from the same problem. What the fuck is this? I like it. But that being said, I still think he's a really cool monster and a really fun fight. I do put him way above, you know, Hellblade easy. I don't think he's quite as much fun as these guys are, though. I don't know. It's hard. I do like the bubbles. The bubbles are really cool. I like the big spin. So it's an S tier. I mean, I can't put it at S tier. I have Gravios at S tier. Gravios is so much fun. And the regular Mitsu, I'd actually rank higher than the other one. I think the main reason for that is I don't have to nearly worry as hard about death, and I just get to really enjoy Mitsu. You know what I mean? I just get to enjoy the fact that this is what Mitsu is. You know, and with Soulseer, he's super dangerous. All right. Yep. Next up is Najarlaha. There we go. Najarlaha. This monster is super cool. I love this monster so much. Again, for you. But first off, we don't have snakes. Snakes are very uncommon in Monster Hunter, and this guy is like the only snaky boy. He's the only danger noodle we got. Not to mention it's a rattlesnake, and like he sends out like these things. He like explodes all over the place. He like circles around you and tries to constrict you, but then you can jump out of it. Like he's got so many ways to play around him. I like, and like, okay, I talked about this. Monsters that like kind of explode are really cool. His beak explodes, his tail explodes, and all of his feather things explode, and I like that. He explodes them himself. It's kind of amazing. And he's also a big monster. He's really easy to hit. His head is really hard to hit. If you were a hammer user, I'm sorry. I can understand why you hate this monster. But for me as a heavy bow gunner, he's so much fun and I love him. As a gun lance user, I think that he's super cool and fun to fight. As a hunting horn user, I don't really go for exhaust. So I should work on that, but I still find him fun. They said one of the snake wyverns for Ramoa and Rise, so we may possibly get another one. Also, why is Dalamur not a snake wyvern? And the sound vibrations detonating thing is awesome. Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, that's top tier. So as a result of that, so all of this evidence has come forward to make me put him right here. I don't think he's much fun as Barioth, but he's definitely more fun than Chameleos. Like, he exists here, A tier easy. Super fun fight. Moving onwards, I believe we have Narcolos. Yes, Narcolos? Yes, something like that. This monster is very cool. Boner Squad. Yes. Scood. Yes. The Boner Squid. I definitely like this monster a lot. He's honestly like one of the coolest mechanics I think I've ever encountered in 4U, or sorry, GU, in terms of like, so he does all of the status things. I'm gonna take a break. I'll be back in like 30 minutes or so, maybe 10. All right, but yeah, no, this monster's great. The entire fight is super cool. He has several different form changes, and they take you get to experience each one. It's not like, hey, he was on form for like 2 seconds, then he kind of got out of it. No, this guy has real forms. Speaking of Ketsu theme. Or not Ketsu, yeah, the drum theme a little bit, maybe. No, this is not it. No, this is Teostra. Anyway, this monster is super cool. I love him. When you get to fight him, and like the first time you fight him, you just see him as like the two-headed dragons. You don't even know that he's a squid, and that's so cool. And then you go fight him in G, and then he like turns around, his head pops out of the ground, and you're like, this isn't what I thought I was fighting. And it's like actually amazing. I don't know if he's the best Elder Dragon though. He's definitely A tier, but I think I'd put him right behind Chameleos. I like Chameleos more. It's a more fun fight to me. And maybe that's just because Chameleos is only poison, and the way that it looks around and smashing its head is super fun and all of those things. I like Chameleos a lot. But this guy is a close second. I wish that he shattered a bit more. He's so brittle looking, and I just wish that you could really tear him apart into nothing. Like, what if you could polish his shell? Like, knock all the bones off of his shell. I think that would be so cool. I think it's a missed opportunity, and it makes the fight just not as good as Chameleos for whatever reason. All right. Next up, we have Silverwind and the regular Nakuga. God. So these monsters I want to like as well. They were actually the first deviants I ever fought. When I started up Generations on the 3DS, Silverwind was the first one I fought, and it still has a bit of a soft spot for me because of how much fun I had fighting it back in the day. I like the idea of having to kind of gauge what angle his blade beams or blade beams. There we go. Blade beams are pointed at, so that way you don't get hit by them. I think that's super cool. I understand, like, I don't know. I think that it can be fun. I like the way that he kind of topples over. I will say the beginning of the fight is the worst. He, like, just moves all over the place. It's impossible to hit him. Half of the fight is not fun. The second half of the fight is fun. That's how I would put him. So as a result of that, I think he manages to live in C tier, but, like, definitely bottom C tier. He'll live right there. Now, regular Nakuga is a slightly different story because you can actually get close to this monster without dying instantly, and I appreciate that. In fact, I appreciate that so much that I think he's better than this guy. That's where I would put the two. I still think that this Takal is still just cooler with its form changes, and I like fighting it in its insect form so much. And this guy is kind of boring and uninteresting, which is exactly like right next to this guy, who's actually more interesting than he is. This fight's just more fun. All right. Next up is Nursilla. And Nursilla is amazing. I'm gonna be honest. It's an amazing monster. It is a spider, and I love spiders. I think spiders are really cool. I think that this is a really cool monster. This monster, Nursilla, right here, easily goes in the S tier. I don't think he's as much fun as Gravios, but dude, he is so much fun to fight. So he hits a lot of the marks. He has really, really, really cool, like, its entire body is breakable, almost. You can, like, damage its head, you can damage its fangs, you can damage its back. When its back explodes, you leave it, like, exposed. It's, like, got the best parts of this guy right here, the Hermitars, except, like, a spider. I think that its web mechanics are really cool. I like the way that it slings around. I will say that that's kind of, like, the only, like, it's easy to hit, but at the same time, it's, like, kind of, like, I don't know, it's a cool monster. I also, part of the, it has a bit of a challenge to it. For instance, you can, in fact, break its fangs, like the two giant fangs that come out of its mouth and, like, tries to clamp you. You can break those, and I really, really, really enjoy that. I find it amazing. He's also one of the few monsters that gives you monster broth, so he's kind of, like, worth fighting to me. Because you're always needing that stuff for the most part. And, like, everything about him, I like everything about this monster. He's got a unique kind of cool design. Its sound effects are disgusting, so I give it bonus points for that. Oh yeah, for sure. He's got, like, fantastic theming in terms of, like, the way the monster's, like, designed, and then, like, the fight itself is just so much fun. For those of you just tuning in, we are rating all of the GU monsters based on how much fun the fights are. That's the whole thing. Speaking of fights that might or may not be fun, we got Nimble Snarf. There is one thing I like about this monster. One thing that I like about this monster, and only one thing. Its weakness is explosions, and I think that's awesome. Everything else about this monster blows. It sucks so hard. This monster goes top of E tier. Easy. The only monster with a fishing minigame built in. I rest my case. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love me some fishing minigames. I find it hilarious how you can place a barrel where it's going to, like, jump up and it will eat the barrel, explode, and then, like kind of, like, pedal out. That is the only cool thing about this whole monster, is the fact that it eats barrel bombs and explodes itself. Everything else about this fight, though, is not fun. It spends 90% of its time in the sand. It, like, covers, like, half of its body with sand blasts. It puts water damage on you, which is not fun. It's kind of got that same issue that ice damage does, except, if you're using bow, it's far more detrimental. And it lives in a desert, which is also a very pain-in-the-ass area. Also not very interesting to look at. I don't remember what its music is, and that also worries me in terms of, like, whether or not it's even interesting. Because, like, good music adds a lot to a fight. This guy, very cool and unique theme, and I love it. This guy, I don't even remember what its theme was. So, therefore, probably not, like, something memorable. All right, next we got White Fatty. Okay, this is the best fatty, but it's still bad. It's still fatty. All the fatties are about the same. I've already said this earlier. But this dude is easily the best out of all of them. And the reason why is because he's the most fun to hit out of all of them. The only thing he does, he has a camping phase, yes, but all you have to do is run. And then you're out of the camping phase, and that's okay. Everything else, though, like these two guys, I'm not a huge fan of these guys. I like the wormhole attack. I think it's more fun. Okay. Have you watched it, though? I have watched it. Are you talking to me about whether or not I've fought White Fatty enough times? I'm like the king of fighting Fatty. Anyway. I don't know. The enjoyment that people get out of the Lao Shank fight, I get out of this wormhole phase. That's how I would phrase it. But we've already talked about Fatty. It's kind of obnoxious. It's a big monster. The fight takes 10 years, and it gets kind of boring after a while, and yet you still die from it. It's like this fight, except, actually shorter somehow. All right. Next up, we've got this dude. Plesioth? Is that what it is? I want to say it's Plesioth. Plesioth is a... It's kind of a hard monster to gauge for me. Because I like the way it's shaped. I like how big it is. I like how fun it is to smack. I don't like that it's on chicken legs. That's kind of a pain. And I know for a fact that it's hard to hit. From my experiences, this monster is not easy to hit unless you have a bow gun. And I've almost always fought it with a bow gun, so that tends to help my case out a little bit. Hip check, broken hitbox, chicken leg ass looking fish. Yeah. That being said, I don't know why. Like, I don't know. Just the fact that it's a fish helps. This goddamn fish. It fixes a lot of things. Like, I don't know. It's fish with legs. I can't complain too hard about a fish with legs. And so as a result of that, I'm going to definitely put him here. He's better than everything below him. I'm sorry. And, like, I know that might be a little bit controversial. I actually kind of like his hip check. Just a little bit. I find it hilarious at how big that hitbox is and how dumb it is. And I think that's hilarious. In fact, I wish I played 3U so it could be even dumber. But besides that, everything about this monster shouldn't be fun to fight, and yet somehow it's kind of a miracle that it's just even kind of fun to fight. So that's where it goes. Alright, sorry. Just grabbing some snacks. I went and grabbed some of my favorite candy today because... Favorite candy, it's Twizzlers. Next up. You guys are learning a lot about me. I talk about my favorite candy and pull out Twizzlers, which are people's like, I like them, but they're not good. I like them and they're very good. All right. Next up, we have Rajangs. We got the Enraged Rajang and the regular Rajang. This one is a toughie, if I'm being perfectly honest, because anime monkeys. I will defend the Twizzlers. Thank you, Dranger. Also, what do you think of my tier list so far? A lot of people are questioning my S tiers. I have no regrets. We're just making a tier list based on how fun monsters are to fight. But yes, no, Rajangs are in a tough spot because when you're doing the fight and it's happening, it's fun. When you fight Rajangs, and it's not happening, it is the least fun thing on the planet. It's like it's so bad. They're like easily hit or miss. I agree with only Nursilla S. I don't know what you're on with Gravios and S, but Gravios wouldn't be that high for me. I know Gravios. I don't know why. Oh. Gravios has something special. I don't know what it did. At least as someone who can parry Rajang Laser, Rajang is not fun. Like, here's the thing, though. It can be fun, and that's kind of a miracle. It kind of belongs in the Plesioth zone as well, but, like, less than Plesioth. So, Enraged Rajang is definitely going here. Because, like, it's kind of a miracle that it even has the timing to be fun. This guy, though, you just bounce off of him and die for it, and I don't like that. He just moves too much. Okay. Here's the thing, right? Okay, we talk about Blanca Ball, right? Is that what it's called? Whatever that move is, that you know, the move. Ashlos would be that high for me too, though. I love it. Oh, me too. I play Gunner against Rajang, and he just got it. Just Blanca Ball. Thank you. Yes. So I find Blanca Ball to be actually one of the most fun moves in the entire game, and here's my reasoning for it. When you dodge Blanca Ball with a heavy bowgun, and you're just kind of walking around, you feel like a god. Like, okay, I have several clips of me just, like, kind of casually, he targets me with Blanca Ball, I take a small step to the left, I take a small step to the right, and then I take a small step forward, and the dude goes, doom, like, right next to me on this side, doom right to me this side, and doom right behind me, and I just kind of walk away from it. Didn't have to sheathe my weapon, didn't have to dodge roll, I just straight up kind of took a step to the side, and he missed me 3 times. I think that's so fucking cool. Again, the difference, and this guy is going to go right here in C tier because this guy bounces and this guy doesn't. That's the whole thing. When you parry all 3 hits of Blanca Ball with Lance, you hit Euphoria, and I would know. And see, that's what I'm talking about. That is what makes this monster fun to fight. When the fight is going well and you are fighting it well, this fight, like, you're just taking care of an incredibly hard monster. Like, this dude is hard. That's why it's not fun to fight. And when you're playing it well, he is fun to fight. As soon as something goes wrong, though, it's like you're getting super punished for it, probably killed. That's what makes this fight not fun. However, again, when it is going well, it's going super well. Most of the time, though, it's not. That's why it goes where it goes. All right, and next up, we've got the worst of the monsters. We got the Rathalos and the Raytheons. These are going to be very, very either quick to rate, very, very long to rate. Honestly, I have to spend half of my time just remembering what they each do. Silver Wrath, E tier. Honestly, Dread King can also go there. In fact, okay. Dread King never leaves the ground or never leaves the air, and that's a pain. He's got this guy's issues, except this guy's interesting. Boom. There we go. Impossible to hit. Constantly shoots fireballs at you. Just not a good fight. Silver Wrath, same issue, except even more dangerous about 50% of the time, and has hyper. Regular Wrath, I'm putting Rajang higher than Wrath. Wrath is kind of fun. I find Wrath to be the most interesting out of all 3 of them, because he actually does stuff on the ground. Dread Queen / King is ouch. To an extent. Okay, let me clarify some things here. Vanilla Wrath is like Mario of the Monster Hunter. Yeah. No, I mean, I like him. He's kind of cool, but, like, again, I've fought him so many times. It kind of, his fun wears out on me. But at least he doesn't do what these 2 do, which is just be a dick. Actually, that should be swapped. There we go. That feels better. I forgot how I was ordering this. It's all right. It's a tier list. It doesn't have any real meaning. Next comes up the next monsters. So this one might actually be a bit of a controversial pick, but I actually kind of like the Dread Queen fight a lot more than most people do. I find Dread Queen to be interesting. Her, like, super deadly poison, she, like, lays down poison traps for you, and I find that to be kind of fun. I find it, like, I don't know. Me and Dread Queen go back. It's so satisfying to take her tail off. Exactly. And what I really like about this fight is that actually damaging the monster is incredibly important to changing the way the fight is played. When Dread Queen has her tail, you got to be hella careful. You get poisoned, you insta-die. She has giant hitboxes. She lays down like these poison smoke things that puts like the second worst poison on the game in you. She does all of this stuff. All of it. When she has her tail. As soon as you cut off her tail, though, it like literally changes the entire fight. And I find that very interesting. You know how I talk about form changes? This is a form change that happens based on how well the hunter is doing and whether or not like they're willing to cut off the tail. And I find that to be incredibly interesting. All the other wraths, they kind of like, you know, they have their mechanics. I think that's interesting, but Dread Queen is by far the most interesting and most fun out of all of them, in my opinion. It's actually like the one that you can change. And so she's going like top of C tier. That's my opinion on her. Most people, like, I'm sure would rank her lower, but that's my reasoning. Gold Rathian, entirely different story. This monster sucks. In fact, I you know what? These two are always together and they both suck. And they're always hyper and they both suck. There we go. They fight exactly the same. Regular Rathian, I'm going to put slightly higher than Rathalos. I like Rathian more than Rathalos. I'm also a fan who likes Latios more than Latios. Come at me. But yeah, no, all three of these monsters fight basically exactly the same. They have the exact same moveset. I just think that this one right here is the most interesting. Gold Rathian at least stays on the ground a lot more than Silver. Yeah, I agree. That's exactly why it's above Silver. But besides that, it's like just not a great fight, in my opinion. Man, we're almost done, guys. Kind of. Some of these are very similar, so I can just kind of plow through them. This guy, like this guy. This guy's cool. This is a cool guy. He goes in B tier. I would actually put him right around here. And so this is Royal Ludroth, for those of you who don't know. I've talked about this already, but I find it awesome when monsters just fall apart. Yeah, it's just a punching bag. And I find that to be very, very satisfying to just chip away at a monster like crazy. He also, like, again, you can just tear this monster to shreds. You get free dash extract out of him, I think. Don't at me on that. I think you do, though. Which is actually kind of a valuable resource. So you get to fight him a lot, and every time I fight him, I just have the most fun. I will say his moveset is actually very similar to this dude, in my opinion. Except he's a little bit faster. Like, he has the rolling thing. He has, like, the spit water at people thing. This guy spits fire instead, and I prefer fire to water, but, like, you know. Again, I think that this guy is actually a pretty good monster, in my opinion, in terms of, like, actually getting to fight it. That being said, it's still a small monster. It doesn't last long, and it's kind of, you know, there are more fun fights, which is everything above it. All right, moving on. We got Celtis Queen. So you're gonna start noticing a small trend here, but I fucking love insects. And this is no change. This monster is super, super cool. In fact, it's so cool. I'd probably put it. I'm almost tempted to put it in S tier. Like, that's how good it is. An insect and a mech. I know. Yeah, that's definitely okay. That's my S tier. They're right there. I'm not. All the rest of these, I can tell you already, aren't going in S tier. These are my S tier monsters. Queen Celtis is a monster that falls apart, has form changes. It like has a second monster that's always with it and it kind of like gets piloted by it, and I think that's really cool. The stamina drain mechanic and the water is like the two things that I dislike about this monster, and that's why it's lower than Gravios and Nerscylla. I do love tearing this monster apart. I actually love the way that it's built and designed. It makes it really easy to hit from above as well as below, and like damaging its legs and all of that stuff is crazy fun. Getting to like mount this guy, and I love knocking off Celtis. Like the Celtis being with it is a part of like the way, is like just a part of the reason why the fight is as much fun as it is. Getting to have like another smaller monster to thrash around when it's busy doing its thing, vice versa. Like, I like it when somebody mounts Celtis and everybody's just kind of standing around being like, what do we do? No. This fight, you mount Celtis and everybody's like, let's go gang up on Celtis Queen over there. And I think that's so much fun. This fight just like the Saltis Queen fight never stops. It's always fun. That being said, Saltis itself, it's a fun fight. I actually like this one a lot. I like the idea of clipping off its wings and it hits the ground and is forced to fight on the ground. Saltis is only memorable because Queen Saltis makes use of it. I actually disagree. It's actually like one of the small flying insects in this game that is actually like considered a large monster, and I kind of love it for that. I will say that, again, I'm a gunner. I think this monster is super fun to hit with like normal shot level 2. But that being said, that's not true for everybody. Like, I totally understand that. But I definitely have, like, Saltis has a soft spot in my heart. I like the idea of being able to clip off its wings. It dies so fast, though. That's why it goes in B tier. I'm not putting this monster up super high, but it's definitely a fun fight. In fact, I'd probably put it above... I'd probably put it right here, honestly. Saltis is easily, like, it's such a short fight, but it's always, like, fun and action-packed for me. It's one of those monsters that you can easily parry, but you don't get punished for doing so. It's like the perfect practice monster, in my opinion. If you're like learning a new set and you want to like learn how to hit things, this monster flies, it hits the ground, it's super fast, it like dies pretty quickly. So like even if like you're bad with a weapon set, you can still kill this thing and it's not going to be an issue. And it like gives you tons of parts to break. You can clip its wings and it hits the ground, and it gives you useful materials. Like nobody's going to complain about having Saltis material. Like, you can always use it for a transmog, and it like all of its transmogs are pretty cool last time I checked. And the fight itself is fun. Like, again, I like it a lot. All right, onwards to Seregios. Oh my god. Something died in my fruit. But yeah, no. Okay, so if I haven't said it once, give me just 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right, back. Sorry, I was just checking up on my fruit, and some of it's not looking okay. I was questioning it. But yeah, no, Seregios. So again, as I said before, I find that 4U monsters will always have a fun soft spot in my heart. There's very few 4U monsters that I actually did not like fighting. Cephalodrome. Surge is cool, but man, Bleed is not fun. Yeah, Bleed is not fun. I can agree with that. However, I think that the way that it moves and all of that stuff is still more fun than a lot of the other monsters. It's actually one of the unique Wyverns, in my opinion. Like, we don't have a whole lot of unique Wyverns. Either they're all Raytheons or they're all Rathaloses. And in this game, we got 2 of them. We got Astralos and Seregios. And they keep bringing back Seregios, and I love it. Seregios is actually, like, just straight up one of my favorite monsters in the game. I would easily put it somewhere right around here in A tier. Because, I don't know, I like this fight a lot, and I like every fight above it I like more than Seregios. Seregios can be kind of a pain in the ass, but for the most part, like, you put up with, like, that tiny little pain in the ass for a really, really cool fight. The bleed effect is, like, the tiny little pain in the ass that you deal with. It moves fast, but it's easy to hit. It's super fun to knock out of the air. When you knock it out of the air, it just hits the ground. Everybody charges in. It's got tons and tons of, like, little scales on it, and when they break, it looks cool. Like, I like that. You can cut off its tail. That's cool. You can knock it out of the air. Monsters that you can knock out of the air are really fun to fight if you can hit them in the air. This is one of those monsters that fits all of that criteria. Hyper Seregios makes me sob. Well, Hyper Seregios isn't on this list. Also, I like, you know, hyper monsters can be a pain. I do like it. Like, I do like the idea of monsters getting more tired as the fight goes on, and that makes me really happy. And Seregios is one of those monsters that as it gets tired, it becomes more and more fun to fight. It's like, wow, this was like kind of hard at first, and now it's getting easier, and that's nice. Hyper doesn't let it do that, and that is kind of a pain. But for the most part, it's almost always a good fight. Nice juicy peach. Love that. All right. Moving onwards to Shigeru Magala. This monster is super cool. I've already kind of ranked the other two, and this guy goes right in between them. In fact, they go in order. I like this monster a lot, but I will say that its whole fight is kind of a cutscene to me in a very weird way. I feel like it's just a little bit too big and a little bit too long. The monster itself is a little bit too big. It reminds me of Lao Shank for whatever reason, and that makes me just a little bit sad, and that's why it's in B tier and right behind everything else. Which is funny. It doesn't fit most of the other criteria. There's like I don't know. There's a too big, and this is a too big monster. But it's still a crazy fun fight. It's got lots of like really big hitboxes, lots of big hitboxes that you have to dodge and pay attention to. It's got like a form change that I like. I like the fact that it has like darkness geysers that just pop up around the arena. Unless you get hit by them 7 billion times, that kind of changes things. But like for the most part, that doesn't happen. Generally though, it's a pretty fun fight. I enjoy it. If anybody, by the way, if anybody's like ever just being like, man, I wonder what we should hunt today, you can always refer to this list and go like, well, I know Babo likes Gravios, and just post Gravios, and I'm like, oh, cool, Gravios. I will always do that. Unless we do it like all night, in which case maybe not, but. All right, next up, we got crabs. Specifically, my least favorite crabs in the game. I hate these guys. I actually despise these fights. Their hitboxes are too large. They do bleed damage, and they always live in ice areas. They like hit all of my checks of things that I hate. Breast Stranger changing cells is cool though. That is the only cool thing that it does, and I will give it that. That's the reason why it's going to be ranked higher than the original. But it's definitely, to me, it's most of the time not a fun fight, and I don't like it for that. It's definitely going in D tier. And below Enraged Rajang. The thing about Enraged Rajang is that yes, it's a little bit unfair, but so is this monster. And you know, but like when you're fighting well against any Rajang, it feels good, and I like that. I like that a lot actually. And that's why regular Rajang is so high up, is because it still hits hard, but when you're playing well against any kind of Rajang, it feels good. This monster, even when you're playing well against it, it doesn't feel good. I do like the way that it changes shells, and that's why it's going up at least this high. If it didn't change shells, like another crab I know, it's going over here. This monster's just boring, and it's impossible to hit, and like if you get close to it, it just swats you away, and it goes bleed damage, so then you can't approach it again, so you spend 5 minutes covering up the bleed damage, and then you go back in and it swats you away immediately, and you're stuck in bleed damage. And its scariest move is it just walks at you, and I hate that. That is not fun. I hate monsters that just walk at you and terrify you. Not a fan. You'll notice that I'm starting to go through these faster. It's because I'm getting tired. And we're very close to ending this tier list video. All right, onwards. Next up, we have Tio. I like Tio. I think Tio's cool. I've already told you form change, so it checks that box. Can you hit it? Yes. Flame armor or flame aura is kind of a pain. Blast is kind of a pain. Fire is okay. I like its supernovas. I like how they're just telegraphed enough for you to dodge them, but you just have to respect the fuck out of them. If you get hit by a supernova, you're getting hit. Like, you know, nobody walks off a supernova very easily. Not even like the most defensive flame res sets I know. Like, you know, the supernova will do half your HP easy. And I like that. And I also like how you're able to dodge it. Like, as long as you see it, you can totally do it. Oh, you'd hate Lunestra. I do hate Lunestra. Thank you. It's just, thankfully that it's not in GU, so I don't have to fight Lunestra. But yeah, no. Tio is pretty cool. I like it a lot. The blast damage is just a little bit obnoxious, but that's pretty much it. I like the way it moves. I like the way it, like, I like the explosion patterns that it has. Once you recognize the patterns, it's like, oh, okay, it's going for circles, and then you just dodge circles, and then it's going for random, and you're like, oh, okay, that's exciting. It goes for like backwards explosion, forward explosion. Like, it's got all kinds of areas that it covers, and once you kind of recognize that, it's a super fun fight. I like the supernovas. I like all of it. I wish it wasn't flame resistant, because so many good moves that knock monsters out of the air aren't like require flame damage, and it just doesn't work. But yeah, no, love this monster. Easily one of my solid. Honestly, I'd probably put him top of B tier, which is pretty high for most Elder Dragons. Most Elder Dragons don't get that kind of privilege, I would say. All right, we're moving onwards. Next up, we've got frogs. I can't remember their names. Tetsukabra and Drill Tusk? Yeah, that's it. Drill Tusk Tetsukabra. Man, I'm doing a better job of memorizing Monster Hunter names than people I've been in school with for years. That's very scary. Drill Tusk, yeah, I also forget it exists a lot of the time. I've been fighting it more lately because I've just been trying to get its EX quest. But for the most part, I don't mind it. I mean, you know, I find Tetsu to be just slightly more. Actually, you know what? I don't know the difference between these two. They do the same things to me. Exactly the same. It's just one does more damage, I guess. I'm trying to think about how to even rank these guys. They go here in this order. And there's not really much of a reason for it because they're kind of hard to they're kind of hard to pinpoint. But they're definitely less fun than Silverwind, more fun than this guy, and that's where I'd rank them. This guy does more damage, and that's kind of a pain. This guy does less damage, and that's less of a pain. There we go. We ranked them. All right. Moving onwards to Grimclaw and Tigrex. All right. Now, this might be also a controversial one. But so Grimclaw, I find to be actually kind of fun. The reasoning for that is, again, it's the Scissor Scyther effect that we were talking about earlier with Bloodbath and regular Diablos. These guys actually do the exact same thing. And I like the slower variants that do more damage and like look a little bit scarier. I like the way that it throws out rocks. I like the big screams. I think that they're funny. I find it funny that I run HE earplugs and I still take damage. And like generally, I like the way that this guy moves around. I don't know. We don't have a lot of monsters that are like this. They're kind of unique, and I'm a fan of that. And whenever you get to like have a unique fight in Monster Hunter, it's just so good. It's so good. Like again, we have like 6 different Raytheons that all do the same thing, and then we got a monster like this that always does things. You couldn't tell why their fight. What? But yeah, no, they're definitely a B tier monster for sure. And I would put them probably somewhere. I'd actually put Grimclaw here, right in between Bloodbath and regular Diablos. I like him a little bit more than Diablos, and I like him a little bit less than Bloodbath. Bloodbath is just so much fun, and this guy is so fast. And then regular Tigrex, again, it's very fast and it's willing to overrun you. So the first half of the fight is always miserable for me. I cannot stand fighting this monster for the first half. And then the second half is just so easy and fun. And I don't know. Or like getting to the... Okay. Let me rephrase that. First half is really hard. And because of that, getting the anticipation to reaching the second half makes it fun. Like... The first quarter sucks. The second quarter is like, oh my god, it's dangerous, but like it's almost there. And then by the time you get to that midway point when it's like kind of exhausted and tired, you can just totally beat it up. And that 2/3 area, or that 2/4 area, yeah, the 2/4 area before it gets tired, that is my favorite area of the game when you're fighting this monster. I think it's super fun. But because of that, I'm gonna actually put him a little bit lower than Diablos. Just because I think Diablos is a more fun fight for a majority of the time. This guy's really, really fun for like that 1/4 of a period before the time it gets exhausted. But yeah, Euclinos. He lives with a Cantor, man. This monster sucks. Generally, I'm not a huge fan of him. The main reasoning is just because he's basically a Cantor except slower and more beefy. Not a fan of that. Also, ice. We just talked about this. I don't like ice damage. This dude does ice damage, and that irritates me. But on top of that, like, okay, I actually got really bad history with this dude. So we're gonna go back in time for a minute here. Back when I first got 4U, this would have been maybe 5.5 years ago. 4U had just come out. A friend of mine bought it for my birthday. I was very excited because I'd never played Monster Hunter before. He was like, hey, here's this game. You should try it out because I want to know if I should get it because it looked kind of cool. And, you know, if you think it's cool, then we can play it together. And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. I get so fucking absorbed into Monster Hunter. Clearly, I'm over here writing a tier list on, like, Twitch. Make a new tier for Crystal Beard. Hold on. I'm still telling my story about you, Klonos. It's that bad. No, but so yeah, I do this whole thing, right? And then I play the game, I get super invested. And then I get to G rank and I'm like, yes, I'm in G rank. Finally. Like, you know, in the hub. But I'm like in that weird period of G rank where it's like technically you can do G rank hunts, but you can't advance past a certain level because you haven't done the urgent quest or whatever. I spent 6 months trying to find people who would do this goddamn quest with me. 6 months. Of course, I was like pretty not perfect at the game. I was not great at the game. I should iterate that. Welcome back, Melodic. But like, I spent 6 months trying to find people who would be willing to like help me out with this fight. I did this fight like 9 times with different round robin hubs, and then as soon as we finished the hunt with like the third dude, they'd all dip, and I'd be like, well, shit, I've been trying to get this done, but I guess I'm gonna wait even longer. God, I hate this monster. I hate this monster so much. A Cantor, I can do it easy. This monster sucks. I hate him. And for, a lot of it's for personal reasons, but like generally it's just like, oh my God, I hate you. Why did you take up so much of my Monster Hunter time? I could have been playing G rank back when 4U was a popular game. Anyway, as a result of that, I never have fun fighting him. Can we do a recap after the stream? Yeah, we can do a very, very fast blow through. Why not? All right. So, next up on the list is Crystal Beard and regular Uragon. Now, I see Wolver over here being like, Uragon or Crystal Beard blows. Why the hell would you ever want to fight or like Crystal Beard? Sorry, kind of like it. Worst monster in the series. Boo. Nah, that definitely goes to Lao Shang. I think that Crystal Beard is kind of a neat fight, honestly. I like it sends out those crystals that like do the sleep gas. I like that it has tons of explosions all over the place. As a hammer user who suffered through EX Crystal Beard, very fun to hit its face. I like how you want to hit its face. You want to hit its face so bad, and yet this is the monster that will punish you for hitting its face, and so it forces you to be safe about it. I think it's funny that it turns into a giant monster truck tire and like rolls around the arena. I will say though that this monster is a bit of a pain. The amount of tremor that you have to deal with during this fight alone is ridiculous. I hate that. I think it's dumb and infuriating, and I absolutely can't stand it. The EX Crystal Beard made me actually throw my controller. First monster to ever make me do that. Breaking its chin is so satisfying. Yeah, I again, for the most part, I don't want to fight this thing. But every time I do, I'm pleasantly surprised by the amount of fun that I had. Like, because I thought it was going to be miserable. And so as a result of that, it's going to hit bottom of C tier. I still think that most of the Raytheons are more fun to fight. I don't like him more than this guy. I like him more than this guy, though, in terms of the actual fight. But Crystal Beard kind of sucks. Yo, the Panda King, welcome back. Moving onwards, we got regular Uragon. And regular Uragon is actually kind of fun to fight. I like it. It goes here. It does a lot of the same things, except for it's not nearly as dangerous, and I respect it for that. You can all the satisfaction that you get out of Crystal Beard, I feel like you can get out of regular Uragon for a much less stressful of a price. Let me put it that way. I'm torturing myself with Ninho 2. Ah, I see. I don't know what Ninho 2 is. What's S tier look like? Oh, you're not going to be happy. But we'll do a quick recap by the time we get to the end. All right, next up is Velastrix. This monster is amazing. You have no clue how cool this monster is. This monster, I think, is actually going to hit top of A tier. And the reasoning for that is because he's just so goddamn cool. Like, I have not seen a more unique Wyvern. I mean, Gravios is up there, so I'm happy with that. Hey, there we go. Somebody else likes Gravios, finally. But yeah, no, but yeah, no, Velastrix is a super cool monster. The only thing I don't like about him is his dragon damage, and that's the only part that I dislike. That's why he's still in A tier. But besides that, like, Velastrix it's got huge hitboxes, but they're super skinny. Like, you can dodge everything with Velastrix if you actually try your best. But, like, you have to dodge. No matter where you are on the map, you have to try and dodge this thing's hits because it will hit you if you don't bother to dodge it. There's no good way. Like, okay, as a gunner, right? My best range is exactly where this guy's, like, arms reach. Like, that's critical distance and still as far away from the monsters as I can be. That is where I want to be as a gunner. This thing can still hit me. It forces me to dodge and play the game in a way that's actually really fun and unique compared to... The only problem I have with your S tier is that it's too empty. See, but these are like, S tier is like so good. S tier is so good. That's what S tier stands for. A is like, okay, yeah, this is amazing. But like, S tier is so good. Oh, I get happy fighting all of those monsters always. Even Velastrix, like, okay. If I had to put it, S tier, I can fight these monsters for like the rest of my life and I'd be happy. A tier is like, okay, this is great. And then you post it for the 15th time, and I go, okay, we need to move on. B tier is like, okay, yeah, you post this quest, and we're going to have a good time. C tier is like, you post this quest, I'm like, sure, why not? D tier is like, E tier is like, oh, what? And F tier is like, the fuck is wrong with you? That is how the list goes, okay? E is D is like, C is like, cool, I guess. B tier is like, sure, I could do this. A tier is amazing, and S tier is so good. Strat zoom good. No, I mean, Velastrix, again, is like top of A tier. It's so close to S tier, but I will get tired of it eventually. His to heavens move is scary, though. I mean, I love that, though. I love the fact that you just kind of have to randomly Superman dive if you want to not die. I don't know. I find that fun. There's so much, again, I like that fight a lot. It's just not as good as these three. All right, onwards and offwards. We got Volvodon. Volvodon is the roly-poly monster that I like. I'm glad that it exists, but I do not enjoy fighting it, like, literally at all. It goes in E tier. It's a very monster. The fact that you have to bounce off of it, like, so often, at least in low rank. So here's the thing. This monster you do not encounter in G rank. You only fight this monster in low rank and high rank. And when you're in G rank fighting a low and high rank this guy, it's not a bad time. But if you're like in high rank and you get this monster to fight against, it's like the worst time in your life, and I hate it for that. This man is a low tier, like low to high rank hunter's worst dream, and I hate that that's what he is. Because it could be a cool fight. I wish like he exposed his belly more. I wish he didn't have paralysis. His tongue move is like kind of not fun, which is funny because I have Chameleos all the way up here who has a tongue move that's identical and a tongue move that's even worse. But like, I don't know. Again, I want that out of an Elder Dragon. I do not want that out of this piece of monstrosity that you only encounter for like 4 hunts and it's always terrible. Not a good monster. Not a fan. I wish it was, but it's not. All right, and then we got these two boys. We've got Deadeye and Uragon. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like these monsters. I don't think a lot of people do, but I mean, the fact that they just scream at you and then rush you down and then like you hit them with your tail and then like you're poisoned and then you spend the time getting the poison off, but then they keep screaming at you. These guys are just like screech machines. They will scream at you until the cows come home, as somebody probably would say. Are they the worst monsters in the game? No. And in fact, there are times when I actually kind of get a little bit of enjoyment out of them, like when they stop screaming. But besides that, like these two are just not fun to fight. This guy just like I love the Deadeye fan weapons, though. They have some redeeming quality. They have one redeeming quality. Yeah, exactly. It's like they're worth fighting because the materials are worth it. Unlike a certain cephalodrome I could mention. And so as a result of that, I actually dislike this guy more than Nimblesnarf. At least Nimblesnarf is fun to fight with explosions. Almost fun to fight with explosions. At least you can have one fun moment when it eats a barrel bomb. That's what Nimblesnarf is good for. This monster is generally just not fun. And then the same thing could be said about this guy, except he's slightly easier to fight. So there we go. That's where they go. Dino Cut Can is almost the same thing, except a lot easier. And for that, I respect it as a monster a little bit more. This guy is, because of how easy it is, he goes right here, right next to the other crab. I do not like the crab. I like this guy more than the crab. But, like, for the most part, they fight basically exactly the same as these two guys, except this dude's easy, and I like his, like, little square image, and occasionally he can be fun. All right, and now we're moving on to some of the other monsters. Zamtrios has 3 form changes, and that's amazing. His biggest downside is that he spends as much time underwater as he does. That is his only, and he's an ice monster. But besides that, he is going to be the only ice monster to actually make it into A tier. He's going to be bottom A tier for sure. But, like, Ice Shark is so sick as an idea, but I really don't like it that he inflates and bores you. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't detract from how much fun the fight is, in my opinion. But I kind of love the idea of his design is cool. I like it how he grows icicles. I like it how you just can keep tearing him apart. Like, every time he grows icicles, you just destroy the icicles on him, and then he becomes big, and then he goes small, and then he, like, puts more icicles on him, and then you get more icicles to destroy. That's so cool. He's, like, again, he has the form changing, he's easy to hit, and he has the, and he has, like, breakable parts. It's, like, everything I like in a monster, except for the ice part, and the fact that, like, it's just the ice part. I really don't like ice. Like, ice is easily, like, one of the worst statuses in the game, in my opinion. Vor gives me a reverse boner. But yeah, no. Top of A tier. I don't know why people like it. But yeah, no. Very good monster. I'm a fan. And then we move over to the last two, which is Thunderlord Zinogre and regular Zinogre. And these two, they're kind of the same to me in a sense. Thunderlord just hits harder. But I like both of these a lot. These two, I believe, also go... You know, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put them in A tier. This guy is going to go... Slightly, yeah. That one's going to live there, and regular Zinogre is going to live... What do I want regular Zinogre? Right there. But yeah, no, I like this guy a lot. He just does a lot of damage, and that kind of scares me. So the thing about Zinogre, and I've talked about this several times in the past, but like never into full detail. But this monster is full of 50-50s. So like, first off, here's what's cool, right? Lots of things break on him. Super cool. Form change. I like form changes. Not nice type. That's a plus. Easy to hit. His tail is cuttable, and I like that a lot. Like, okay, this monster just has a lot of things going for him. I like the idea that you have to respect when he's charging up, or I like how you have to gamble that. I like how you can kind of go in your head and go like, can I do enough damage to stop him from charging, or do I just need to back off and let him finish charging? It kind of reminds me of almost like Overwatch in a sense, when you just know that you can't get to the point, so you stop going to the point, so that way you're not feeding, and like, you know, they just get a free, you know, extra 5 seconds without another character on the map. This monster does that, except in Monster Hunter, and I kind of love that. He is amazing, and I like that. I don't know. And like, the reason why I prefer this monster over this one is just because this guy's just a little bit less deadly. When you get hit by this guy twice, you will die, period. And the fact that he has a flinching mechanic and kind of true combos after flinching you once is really scary. And a little too scary in my opinion for it to be fun. When you have Thunderblight on you and then this guy smacks you and then you're paralyzed and confused and then he hits you again and you die, it's like, man, that sucks. How is his name pronounced, Babo? I'm pronouncing it as Zinogre. That's my favorite way to pronounce it, but I know Zinogre is like the one that everyone else prefers. So I'm bouncing between the two. Oh, give me a topic / rant time. Have I not been ranting for the past 2.5 hours? But sure, give me a topic. But yeah, no, regular Zinogre, super fun. Why Crystalbeard is the worst monster in the game. Rant. Okay, here we go. So, the reason why Crystalbeard is, in fact, the worst monster in the game is because his jawline is so carved that it's literally made out of crystals. You don't seem to understand this. Like that jawline, it's unholy. It's just not okay. The fact that like even if he tries to shave, it's deadly, and these crystals just immediately grow back. He's like a neck beard. He's got like a neck beard. He's like the only monster in the whole game with a neck beard. Why does he have a neck beard? I don't get that. And on top of that, like, you know, he likes to spin in circles, which is not fun. It's got giant hitboxes on it. His tail cut is just too thick. If you cut his tail off, his tail is just too thick. It has no reason to be that fucking thick. And on top of that, even if you like, okay, he shaves off his beard hair, then what do? You go around and you look around and you're like, oh, you know what? I kind of want to collect some of that beard hair. First off, gross, but also it's profitable, which is also gross. And then on top of that, if you hit the wrong one, he like puts you to sleep, like he's like roofing you with his neck beard hair. That's weird. That's why, and like, you know, and then he just like sits there and he stuns you on the ground as he keeps hammering you. It's just not a fun fight. Like, let's be honest. Like, you know, it's kind of weird and gross, and I'm not a fan of it. Like, I don't understand this monster. Honestly, he should just straight up go here. In fact, you know what? He goes here, and the non-existent. I can't put him there. But yeah, no, worst monster in the game, easy. Someone clip this. No, that's actually where I think he belongs. I don't mind him that much. I can just rant about anything. That's why it's there. But yeah, no. So this is the tier list that I've created. Roofing you with his neck beard, lol. Yes. So, just as a quick recap, I'm gonna start from bottom and work my way up, just so that way I can prove how good and how bad monsters are. This monster blows. 25-minute cutscene fight that doesn't exist when you load cannonballs. That sucks. This is the only monster that in the game that is a fight that isn't a fight. How is this like, okay, just not a fight. There we go. This one is fun, or is not fun. It's boring. It's boring, impossible to hit, and obnoxious. This one's boring, obnoxious, and impossible to hit. This one's boring, obnoxious, and impossible to hit. This guy is boring, obnoxious, and you hit him twice and he dies. That's why he's down here. I'm calling him Neckbeard Uragon from now on. It's good. This monster right here is forgettable, very forgettable, and spends 90% of his time in the sand where you can't hit him. Not fun. This guy spends 90% of his time in the air where you can't hit him. Not fun. Or no. This guy just follows this guy around like a... No. Sorry. This guy just follows this guy around like a dickwad, and then you can't hit him or her, or vice versa, and they're obnoxious together, period, and they don't belong together. Toxic relationship, and you're stuck in it. This guy flies around forever, can't hit him 90% of the time, sucks. This guy flies around 90% of the time, can't hit him, sucks. This monster can't hit him at all if you're in G or in low and high rank, kind of sucks. This monster stuns you so that way you can't hit him, kind of sucks. This monster also stuns you, but doesn't stun you nearly as much as this guy. Kind of sucks. This monster spends 90% of its time on the ground. Kind of sucks, but you can at least blow him up when he is. All three of the Fatalis, they're exactly the same. All the fights are exactly the same, except Dragon Breath, Meteors, and Lightning. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same reason why this fight isn't fun, except for this fight is a little bit more fun. It's just 25 minutes of doing the exact same thing, but at least you get to hit the monster with your sword and not with cannonballs that take forever to load. Moving onwards, Enraged Devil Joe. He suffers from Dragon. He has giant hitboxes and is super dangerous and has defense down and all the things that make it not fun to fight monsters. He also likes to live in ice areas, which means that he can do ice damage. No, I don't like that. And he's got chicken legs. You can't hit him. Sucks. This guy, you can't approach him and therefore can't hit him, and it sucks. And he does bleed damage, so that way you have to crouch, and that also sucks. Monster, literally can't hit this monster, period. Can't even approach this monster. If it's got black winds, you just gotta wait. Or fire bullets at it and like watch them ricochet back at you, and then you fire more bullets and watch them ricochet back at you. This monster, I've got personal grudges against. Hate this monster. This monster sucks. This monster, also have personal grudges with. Hate this monster, also sucks. This monster, boring. This monster, boring. This monster, super boring. Except, you know, not boring. The only boring thing about it is the lack of music, and I'm okay with rating it as a D tier for that. This monster, all the issues with Enraged except easier. This monster, form change, except otherwise it would suck as much as this guy. In fact, worse. They are obnoxiously individual. Yeah. And Furious Rajang sucks because you can't hit him and he's super dangerous. But at least he can be fun sometimes, like just barely. Like 5% of the time you'll fight this guy and it'll be fun. Neckbeard Dragon. I don't necessarily hate him entirely. I don't fight him often enough for me to hate him entirely. And if you have a gunner, it's at least it can be fun. This guy, kind of fun. Almost fun. You can at least like clip its wings and it hits the ground kind of hard, but it's repetitive, and you fight this monster for 3 years. No, 7 years. You fight this monster for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter what you do. You got to stop playing Monster Hunter. You got to stop fighting. Like, if to stop fighting this monster, you just got to stop playing Monster Hunter. Same thing with this, guys. Exactly the same. Rajang. Like Furious Rajang, except not deadly. And can be fun 5% of the time. This guy, I don't know why I like this monster. I do. Hip check is silly. Water is silly. But it's a fish. So it gets C tier. Is that regular Narkuga or is that Silverwind? Oh, no, Silverwind. Blade Beams, not fun. And Bleed, not fun. And can't hit it, not fun. Kieran, impossible to hit and tiny. Bouncing. This one also has bouncing problems. This one has stun problems and is forgettable. This one is also got stun problems and is also forgettable, but at least you don't bounce off it like this guy. Babo, please South can stay in the water for like 5 minutes. I mean, not really. I mean, it stays there for like 20 seconds. All you have to do is like throw something at it, like stone or paintball. I don't mind him that much in this game. Even worse if it were 3U. I mean, yeah, for sure, but this is GU, so it's slightly different. If this were like other games, like I would probably rate Fatalis higher, and I would probably rate monsters like, well, what's something I put up really high that I hate in other games? This guy would go in like D tier or F tier. Fuck you. Where was I? Right, regular Urgon, like Neckbeard, but not Neckbeard. Not great, but you know, not horrible. Drill Tusk, forgettable. Regular Tusk, forgettable. They jump around, they're frogs. I do appreciate them for being frogs. That's probably why they're this high in C tier. This guy still does bleed damage, as obnoxious as this guy, except for without Blade Beam. Okay. This guy would be super cool if it wasn't for the Mecha Wolf. If the Mecha Wolf didn't waste your time for 10 years, it would be a fantastic fight and it would be an A tier, easy. But Mecha Wolf takes too much time and is boring. These guys, they're basically like Mecha Wolf, except for slightly better than Mecha Wolf the entire time. Stone, I don't like crabs, period. I just don't. This guy's the most fun, but, you know, that's not saying much. It's still a crab. Hellblade. Too dangerous and too scary. Not a fan. I'm terrified every time I fight this thing, and I don't know why. It does, like, it can insta-kill me for whatever reason, like, at every level in the game, and it also does drive-bys, and that's super scary. Raging Brach. Kind of interesting. I wish I fought it more. I can see why people hate it, but I have yet to experiment with it enough. I'm kind of intrigued at this point. I'm looking forward to fighting it. Dread Queen. It has interesting fight mechanics. You break the tail, it does cool things. Plesioth. This monster's fun. It wiggle waggles in the water, or wiggle waggles in the lava, and I find that to be fun. Regular Hellblade. Explosion, a face goes boom, that's cool, and you can cut tail. All right, onto the drums. Best music in the game. Don't at me. That's pretty much it. Oh, so when you send them flying, they go flying. Barioth, very straightforward monster, so very, very easy to like kind of find out a pattern and just start wailing on it. Kind of fun. Juciperops. I don't know. I like how it plays dead, and I think that's cute and funny. I think it's funny. Royal Ludroth, the punching bag of Monster Hunter. Super easy to beat up on. Great for testing out anything in any kind of capacity, except for if it's in the air. Lagriath. Or Lagrius? Lagrius. Black Mage. That's what I'm going to call it. Black Mage. Really cool design. I don't think we have any other monsters like that. Electricity is kind of cool. I like how it has spinny balls. I like how it explodes all the time. I like pretty much everything about this guy, except for like when it slithers really fast at you. Ketchawampa. Form change and mammal. Super cool. Like this monster a lot. I just wish it would stay alive longer so you could fight it. I wish it was harder. Harder monster. Better monster. Celtis. Actually the jack of all trades for any kind of weapon that you want to fight. You can literally run anything against Celtis and it will work. I promise you. Guns are super good. Area, like, you know, you can do anything. It's a great thing to like learn literally any style on any weapon and fight this monster and learn some cool things that you can do. Except for cutting tails. That's the only downside. Malfestios, I love them. They're super cool. I like regular Malfestio more just because this guy can be a little bit obnoxious sometimes with the amount of dust that it puts all over the place. Like, this guy will, like, attack you and you're dizzy, and that bothers me just a little bit. This guy, at least he, like, kind of at least kind of shows you when, like, you're gonna be dizzy. Like, he telegraphs a little harder, and that's okay. Regular Tigrex, fun fight, except for during that one... fun fight for, like, the second quarter of the fight. But everything else is kind of... The last 2 quarters are a little boring because it's tired all the time, and the first quarter is miserable because it's way too active. Devil Joe, same issue as Tigrex, except more like second quarter all the time, and that's okay. Grimclaw, like Tigrex, except not fast and obnoxious. Cool. Devil Joe, or Bloodbath, a lot like Devil Joe, except not as fast and obnoxious. Also form change. Amatsu, cool seaweed dragon monster. I'm okay with this. I like it. And you can always hit it despite it flying, which I also find to be really cool. Gormangula, that's definitely for you. Leaking into my heart. Also, I just like, I don't know. I like its design. I like its kind of black dragoness. I like the frenzy mechanic. Super cool. Shangu, everything else that I said about this guy, except a little bit harder, and I enjoy that. Chaos, the hardest of all 3 of them, and I like it that much for it all. Soulseer, super fun fight. I like Mitsune a lot. The only thing is that it's really hard to cover both fire and water weakness at the same time. Water's kind of obnoxious, but fire and water is really, really obnoxious together for whatever reason. Also super deadly, and that scares me. Agagantor, I like this monster a lot. It falls apart easily, which I like. It only has, like, it's fire, it slithers, it's easy to hit most of the time, and you can, like, kind of... It has, like, that same thing that Xenagray has that I was talking about earlier, where you can choose to go in and hit it really hard and possibly make it pop out of the lava, and I think that's cool. Brachi. Brachi's just a fun fight. It's silly. I like how it's a boxer. It runs around a lot. It does explosions. It has a form change. You can be in explosion form or, like, goop mode, and I like that a lot. Teostra also has form change, can be an explosion form or fire form. Like that a lot. I like the supernovas. I like how deadly it can be, but if you know what you're doing, then it's not as deadly as it can be. Over to the A tiers. Zamtrios, super fun monster. Form changes, ice, super cool. Except for the ice part. I don't like the ice part, but I like how it uses ice as its weapon, and then like kind of like has 3 different forms on it. Thunderlord. Just like regular Zenogre, super fun fight, except more deadly, and I don't like dying in 2 hits. Especially because this guy can hit you twice in a row, and that's not okay. Mitsune, just like Soulseer, except only does water, and I'm cool with that. Xenagray, just like Thunderlord, except it takes 3 hits to kill you, so it feels a little more fair. Drombos does lots of spinning, and I like it for that. I also like how it looks like a volcano. And it's just fun. I like the way it like throws itself in the air, and you just got to be like, oh, I guess it's gone now. Ceregios, one of the few unique flying wyverns in this game, and I greatly appreciate it for that. Bleed damage is just the only obnoxious thing about it. Otherwise, it's a fantastic fight. Narcolos, one of the best Elder Dragon fights in the game, has like 4 different forms. and one of its forms is like it chooses 2 other forms that it can go into at random. So that's pretty cool. You got like electric, blast, fire, and like a rock form. It's just deadly rock, and I like that. Chameleos, only like one of the most unique monsters in the game. Goes invincible, can fly around, it does all of this cool stuff. Huge fan of Chameleos. Poison is like a little bit obnoxious, and stealing items is a little bit obnoxious, but that's really it. I like it a lot. Arkuga, everything about this monster is cool. I like it a lot. Probably like the one thing that irritates me is I wish it was harder, and when it circles you, it's a lot of time wasting. But if it's not circling you specifically, everybody else has a great time beating up on it, and I like it. Barioth. Yes, Barioth? Or is it Baroth? Barioth. This monster is very difficult in a way that I enjoy. It can hit you a lot. It can do a lot of damage. However, it's never like it will threaten to kill you if you're not careful, but it's not like an insta kill for free like Thunderlord is. The biggest thing holding it back is ice. And then next up we have Baroth. It's basically Gravios except smaller and does less damage, and that's a little sad. If it were bigger and did less damage, it might be my favorite monster in the game. Bolt Reaver Astralos, easily like one of the coolest monsters. The only obnoxious thing is the magnetic pull. Magnetic pull makes me sad. But I like its giant laser beam cannon head thing that it does. I like how it flies around. I like the way it moves. I like how it dive bombs you. Super cool monster. This guy does everything except for without the magnetic thing and like the laser beam. The laser beam's kind of a downgrade. The lack of magnetic thing is kind of an upgrade. Cool monster. Vlastrix, my favorite dragon in the game. Super cool. Makes Gunner hard. I'm cool with that. Gunner needs to be more hard sometimes. And I don't know. It just does everything. And then we got Celtics Queen, Mech, super cool. My favorite monster, one of my favorites. Always gets to fight 2 monster, so it's always got like a little bit of uniqueness to it every time you fight it. You always have to deal with this dude, which is a B tier monster, with this S tier monster, and the 2 together are like amazing. Always a unique fight. Narcolos, super break. Oh, it's also super easy to fall apart. Like you break everything on this monster, and it's cool. Narcolos is the same way, except it's a spider, and spiders are really cool. You'll notice that the number of legs increase between those two. I think that's not an uncommon variable. This is actually the only spider in this whole game, and I really, 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 really like that. I look forward to the new spider monster in Rise, because that'll be cool. I'm making an armor set out of that thing. You can't stop me. And I really like how its poison attack with its like giant forward-facing claws is something that you can punish and like get really good rewards out of. Always has useful drops. Super fun monster. And Gravios, my favorite monster in the whole game. And part of that is nostalgia for you. It was like the first armor set that I ever made in G rank. Amazing. It was the heavy bowgun that I used for the like entirety of my 4U career. Which was like second best heavy bowgun in the game, I think. And on top of that, it just has laser cannons. I like how its heat exhaust works. I like how it has sleep things. I like how you can mount it 6 times in a row. Everything about it is just amazing. Imagine if it's just another Nursilla subspecies, just one that uses a Cantor hide. Dude, Nursilla, like, I don't care. Nursilla needs more respect. Like, we already got so much respect, but we need even more respect. But yeah, no. Gravios is the best monster in the game, and you can't change my mind. All right, and with that being said, that is the end of the GU stream tier list. I will, I guess, save. Yeah, well, we'll save this. I'm going to go ahead and put that somewhere. There we go. I got my image. And that being said, that'll be the end of tonight's stream. I will be streaming Celeste tomorrow, probably around 7:30. I look very much so forward to playing through that game for the first time ever. It will be a blind playthrough. Well, good night. We're definitely going to go raid somebody real quick. We got other people playing Monster Hunter. If anybody was like looking to actually play Monster Hunter tonight and not watch me make a tier list. Unless nobody's playing Monster Hunter right now. Weird. In that case, Actually, somebody in here was talking about being interested in D&D, and one of my favorite D&D streamers is currently live. So we're going to actually go drop in on them. For those of you who are interested in D&D, these guys are super cool. They play, I believe, once a week on Sundays, and they are fantastic people to watch and listen to, especially in the background if you just want to hear the great fantasy world of D&D being talked about. I personally am getting into my own D&D stuff, hopefully very soon. And sadly, it will not be streamed. In fact, it will take up one of my streaming days. I would love to be able to start up the D&D stream again, and I need to talk to people about that before we get started on that. But I haven't forgotten about it, I promise. With that being said, good night, everyone. Sleep well, and I hope I see you guys tomorrow. I will post this in the Discord, this whole tier list that I've created today. Feel free to use it and abuse it. All right, until then, good night, sleep well, and I will catch you all tomorrow.